NFM Radio, Emudaho.
Hello, welcome, good evening to you from London, good evening from UK. Another beautiful evening here. The whole day has been quite marvelous. You rock about town and see people with all smiley faces, with all pleasantness, because the weather has changed from gloomy to brightly. You see what I mean? So people are very happy. Loads of people, whenever the sun is shining like this, I tell you what, in London, people really make you feel, they are living the life. Anyway, I hope you are living the life everywhere, anywhere you are on this planet. Welcome to another episode, another week. Hopefully, it's going to be a great week for all of us. Please pardon my earlier, flyer, or let's say the notice. Information are sent, it looks like it wasn't edited properly, so part of last week's events is still attached to what I want to present from today, but I think surely you would understand these things. Anyways, Mansa Musa, I'm sitting here at the Captain's Bridge, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to drive this ship to safety. Are you ready to join me? Please do.
Ben you, NFM Radio. Jumedia Mansa Musa ede bro. Ejuada kopem memneda. Enumre non song. Ekopem non do. Listen to Fire will burn you on NFM Radio with Mansa Musa Monday to Saturday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. NFM Radio. Emudaho.
President Nanado, your friend Matheson, Sunyana Namiwo. Makwatna awonu Holland, ako Sam in Fifure. Sikaka kre minyayeno. Me diaba mia me maimu, Ghana. Diaba betu registered bank, JN Bank. President Nanado, ube TV so bekatre Ghana for se. JN Bank anye ne jumaye. Tiwaje bank ne licenses no. With the customers nisika be momo. 3 years money, mensanka emisika. Sika kakre kaya no 550 million. Media kwa to commercial bank, na me dem say commercial bank de me dem sika koto ho a e save president Nanado enam IMF bosia na wo kwa kobo ne nti osimi mi sika 550 million na odi akwa akoye adwuma nya interest wo so no once the koran onfa mame mi sika trene no so o se onfa mame je se 2024 na sika no interest ketewa no a menya no obema mi mu 5%. Menya adwuma wo Ghana mintimi so enko Holland se me koye adwuma mimfi akọ animu kakra kwan ben so na mefa so a me ne meyire ne memba yibedidi Mr. President mesro se me ma se me bestri skefri ho mia mi sika makosam mfifire enya no mesro se obema mensa aka obi bia obi tie saa me audio me recording yi bi no mesro se mo de beto mo platform so ebetimi afa so ma president Nanado nensa aka we nyama se ni bi etie Ghana mpanyinfo mesro mo so se mo ne president Nanado be kasa ama me medamase.
Good morning, President Nanado Adankwa Akufo-Addo. I'm paying me bano boko. Within the ASP retired Franklin Nati. Mesun Ghana ewo police mo 24 plus years. Na me gratuity me san kano milito bond 2 years aka 1 year this year September 2023 na mi bond no amateur wu adwina wo de ba ye say wakoboka ana wa bugana abofom enti me brama bre sika medito bond no commercial bank no onfa mame we enye am robber ene ebe chimeje misika o oman panyi a ya tu abama no se onhwe yeso emra wo fru plane 18,000 pounds an hour nkrofo kachre wanted emra wo fa so many ministers se omunu na woni omu betumi ayejuma nkrofo kachre wanted ene your incompetence inti me bre amabre me disika yedi tua me ka se gratuity me fa hwe me ho so no usi wafa this is 2033 se mi manu na opese omumbe jisika na me na no mo a menim president woni diemu Israel unuya na ni bank edi enim eji loans no mfaso a wanya no Israel manu fansa mfaso no ekutu sika no me sika no mfa mame Nanado utrimu ye din papa obi a maye juma Ghana mra kire se 24 years plus no yentu America as a retired officer no usi untu America me nya 60 years here Nanado minister mi bisa wo have you been a civil servant in Ghana before? Have you worked as a civil servant? Please. Nanado. Mimpese. Mbe kasati yao. Mimpese mbe dumi usu eni ubusiya derbi. Midi yao esreo. Tise na Mr. Matheson. Efri sunyani esreo no. Jai misika mami. Midin the ASP Franklin Kwesi Nati. Me tome bon wo commercial bank. It was Accra North branch. Please, I beg you, in the name of God, don't touch my money. Don't touch my money. Don't touch my money. Anybody who receives this, please send it to as many platforms for Nana Adodanko Akufo-Addo to see, to hear, and to see. Or his cousin Ken Oforiatta should hear. Please, 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 Nanado, I'm not supposed to beg you. Because when you were begging that you should be tried, I remember traveling from Kumasi to Kofrodua to vote for you 2016, thinking you are bringing something on board. I regretted it. I have regretted all my life. Some friends told me, "Anka unya accident or question na uya." Well, Nanado, please, whoever received this message, forward it to as many platforms. Let Nanado hear me and ensure I have my money. Thank you.
What's name wacha? Manage 2 years. Says here the fear be 2 years. I want them. What's name? What's name 2 years? We are 2 years account. Says here no. Sir, dan someone has said per se. Open single room. Open single room. Says here no put 600. Put 500. Put 700, 800. You're dying. Says here agent for age 100 CDs for viewing fee, and I say 80 Ghana for viewing fee. Just show you the room. Says here if you're a for beard your mother agent for Uchia 9,600 also Uchia agent 900 600 and 900 and almost 1,000 CDs. Why? Says here you to the day. Why? Like why? What, like why? Hey, like it's serious. Sir, Matsna demo 2 years. I'm paying 8,000. Now I'm supposed to pay 9,600. And you're taking the 2 years. You take 1 year and put. Because you see me 6 months in 1 year. Says here we hear Juma me fear. Uba boa no busumi pay the amount. Say 600 or say 700. You have to eat only small one a pay because a whole month no pay. And see back on one by day. Uma should be you. Uma should be you or my one penny for monka one summer na youth for the year brenna ye kun anyhow. A direct in tea ye begging pontino. Uba come ye kun. Bobe koma ye kunti youth nti ye brand edan sem kunye adey how Ghana ye ble papa and the fear walk in encourage me patro me diamond because who agent viewing fees or do what said them or bet you 80 CDs and now say 100 CDs. And then there's someone dying who got 600. Oh, no single room name. Or do 2 years, 600 CDs, 2 years. Because of that, into the old thing with that or no person or two. Now or do a for a shower and watch 600, watch 500. Then they would turn into a person who 2 years. At the moon come shame my say you to the year bread. Ye am ye better a bone, ye are so to a back. I made your main influence in call for a cake.
Hello and welcome once again. Mansa Musa is ready to roll. I'm sitting at the captain's bridge here. I'm driving the ship, so come and join me to drive. Tonight I'm going to talk to someone who works with the DVLA as quick. I mean, road safety, campaign team. Well, it is time for Fire Will Burn You. Make sure that fire won't burn anybody. Fire is not going to burn you. Look, the fire that will burn you is all verbal. Metaphorically, you know what I mean? Auntie Pearl, what's the word? Say. Thank you for your thumbs up. See what I mean? Tonight I'll try and see if I can get one of the Ghana people in Accra to speak to. When I say the Ghana people, these people should be, they are very prominent, and they have, they have a stake in whatever goes on in Accra and Accra places. You see what I mean? Here you are being told that a lot of taxes are going to go up, including e-levy, VAT, and the rest. And when Reverend Mateka Imusun Shami, let's go to Accra and speak to this gentleman. He knows what I'm talking about. Mr. Tetechai, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's start with my little guy. Toyota.
I'm not sure do money or job.
Oh, nice. Miho iyo jogba mbahi mini castle myself you those days.
Oh, okay.
Yosu Sankara Barasaye. I gave that name to that place. That's a small history I can let you know. And from those days, it was in Kewe Ashlash yo Osuma mie. Wobotweni gan wakase few if you are here pano
kasi oga few
ni afo ni yo ni Jamestown hu in ex-wife ni we are all in the family, if you know what I mean.
Under no choice.
Mr. Chai, I call you this evening to worry you small. You having your peace of mind somewhere. And Mansa Musa is calling you all the way from London. But, something that is bothering me, I know is bothering a lot of people, a lot of Ghanaians in particular. And that is, not being so tribalistic or tribal in this case. It will still be fair if, land especially, that are located in Accra and its environs, if those lands are going to be returned from government, it should go to the Ghans. But recent development, recent development can it be recent information can it be and all that have made everybody aware that almost every government it happens, but this time around the Ghan lands are being taken by people who are not ancestrally Ghan people, and that to me is not right. It's not fair. But let me try to be broad here. The Accra Central, or that part that they seized and demolished, massive buildings, very good buildings, some belonging to lawyers, some to the diplomats and the rest. Now that place is a hole, big hole, and when it rains, apparently water gets, you joke you are going to drown there. Then we have somewhere in Accra, they said they demolished some place to build stadium, sports facilities, everything. That place too is not going on much. Then we have the Labadi, what we call hospital, which was also knocked down. It was demolished. Now that place has become a wasteland. Apparently, some cows and goats and sheep, they are grazing, and some part is okra farm. Then we have forgotten even the, what we call it, the Trade Fair Center. When I was a kid, I was born in Bema Camp. We walked all the way from Bema Camp to Trade Fair. I remember those days, this historic, what we call a nostalgic moment. Now the place is nothing to do, and apparently the land is being shared among favorites. Mr. Tetechai, what do you say to all this? Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'll tell you what, we can mix. You see, I will understand, but the majority of people, unfortunately. But since your people too want to listen, we can mix everything. I'm telling you, we can mix it up.
First of all,
the other time, what's his name? Adekoka. You see, we spoke about roughly about 85% English and some few percentage of Ga. But yeah, if you mix it up, no problem.
Okay, for the purposes of your larger audience, let me speak English, okay, so that at least.
Thank you.
It will be universal.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, first of all, it is about governance. And here we are talking of the difference between good governance and then bad governance. The country today is witnessing what we call bad governance, where we have our political leaders not really who they came to serve, but then thinking about themselves. And I'm speaking specifically to the lands, especially the Ghana lands. Per our colonial masters, what they left for us, most of the lands went into the hands of stools and then families. So if you come to Greater Accra, for instance, if government wants to acquire lands, government goes to either the stool or the families that have those lands in their hands. And then government seeks to take those lands either by using constitutional arrangement or legal arrangement. So from our colonial times up to now, most of the lands that our colonial masters, together with our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, took from the hands of the Ghana people were for specific projects. And when you look into the acquisition, you realize that there is a clause which says that once government wants to use that land for a different purpose other than the purpose for which those lands were acquired, government first needs to what? Go to the people that it took the lands from.
Sure.
And that is what the current government has not respected. And it's creating a lot of challenges within the Greater Accra region, especially Accra. You know, the lands within Accra have a very high value. So most government officials want to acquire some of these lands for their own benefit. And they use government institutions to acquire those lands just for them to acquire it for their private use. And for us, it is improper. First of all, if you take the Bema Camp area, those lands were purposely acquired for the military. Now, some of these lands are now being handed over to private land developers. And these are some of the things that is making the Ghana people within those areas, especially the La community, very, very angry with government. Because for them, they believe that if government wants to use the lands other than the purpose for which it was acquired, it first of all has to revert back to the people. So it is one big challenge that we face as a people in the Greater Accra region. And if you go to areas like the La traditional area, they are really, really up in arms with government because of some of these things. You raise the issue of facilities that are being destroyed, or with the intention that new facilities will be put up. And you mentioned specifically the La General Hospital. This is a hospital that serves the health needs of the people within Korle, Klote, Tadekotopon, Jokuku, those constituencies serves their needs because it is a general hospital. This government, before the last elections, made it as a promise. In fact, a sword was cut. The whole infrastructure was raised down. In fact, we were like, if government wants to build a new facility, is that the way to go? Because once the facility is raised down, you are making life very, very uncomfortable for the people within the catchment area to access health facilities. Secondly, the hospital also serves as an employment hub for the people within the catchment area. Because some were selling food, some were selling drugs, everything that needs to make the hospital run within the catchment area, people were providing those services. Today, since almost about 3 years now, like you said, the hospital has been raised down. There's nothing happening. And look at the hardship that the people within the catchment area are going through. It tells you that we have a government that is clueless, a government that does not count the cost. Because look, my brother, if you want to build a house, you first need to count the cost, isn't it?
Exactly.
To find out how much it will cost you to put up that facility. Secondly, you need to ask yourself, where do I raise the resources to build that facility? All these things, government has not been able to do. So like you rightly said, the facility has been raised down. The people of La are suffering as a result of this reckless decision by the NPP government. And if you go into the community and you see what is happening in terms of the health of the people, there's one polyclinic within the community. My brother, if you get to that hospital, you weep for the people. There are no beds. The place is overpopulated. In fact, accessing help within that catchment area is a real difficulty. And that is what the government has put the people of La through. The same applies to the La Trefe Center. This was a facility that was serving the needs of the entire region. We have ECOWAS fairs, we have sub-regional fairs, and then our local trade fairs that we normally organize. It brings producers together, it brings suppliers together, it brings customers together. It gives the youth the opportunity to enter into entrepreneurship. Today, the facility has been raised down, and the place has become a ghost town. And for so many years now, this facility is lying idle. I'm sure, like you rightly said, we'll wake up one day and we'll realize that the land has been sold to individuals. This government is not something that they cannot do. So this is what the good people of this country are going through in the hands of this clueless MPP government. And I can tell you, people are really fed up. People are really, really, really fed up. So on the two facilities, that is what I can say.
Mr. Chai, the point is, you've just said people are really fed up. But looking at how things are going, some of us sitting from afar off on the fence or sitting and watching wouldn't see that people are fed up. Because look, if you have relatives in America, in Germany, in Holland, in France, in UK, everywhere, except maybe in Africa, they will tell you that when people are fed up, the youth especially, you the government, you will feel it. You will see it. They make the government uncomfortable. So why is it that as a people, everybody is quietly sitting down watching as though nothing bad is happening to them? That's what I don't understand. But maybe I'm being naive. Tell me something.
Well, in Ghana, maybe the way we were cultured, our traditional norms, the respect we have for the elderly, over the years, some of these things have been with us. But the good people of this country are talking about the issues. Morning, afternoon, evening, on the airways, people continue to talk. But the difference between our setting and your setting is that when people are fed up, they rise to the occasion. They demonstrate in their numbers, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes throughout the entire year. But in Ghana, in fact, demonstrating a day is even a challenge. And sometimes when political actors even want to organize demonstrations, my brother, it takes a lot of effort to be able to achieve that. So, well, we are maturing in our democracy, and I believe that as we go along, learning from other countries, we will begin to do some of the things that will put our governments on their toes. Currently, I think we are not pushing that enough. And especially the media is also not pushing very hard on some of these things.
Let me ask you, your phone, it hasn't broken up, but you keep drifting in and out. It's like you go up and you come down. I don't know if it's from your end or mine, but no problem. Let's carry on. It's not a problem at all.
It's the calls that are coming in.
Okay. All right. Let's persist a bit. I know you're a busy man. I know you're a busy man. I will persist a bit, then I will let you go. But let me ask you specifically, for instance, the people of La, I remember them days when Mansa Musa was a young fella. I went to go and walk about there, and an old fellow made me aware that look, I was wearing the uniform, but he was still tougher and harder than myself. He showed me where power lies. I remember those days. You see what I mean? La people are not that soft. After all, that's why I call Labadi. Teshi, then for the Osu people are a bit soft, so I can understand. But what are the traditional people, the people, if not by demonstrating, at least the legal instrument or legal system that can be used, at least to raise the awareness that, okay, look, if some lands are supposed to be returned or they are not used for the proposed
purposes for which
exactly.
they were acquired.
Why don't we, the owners, the original owners, at least be made part of the next decisions on these lands? I mean, something like that is not happening. Then the second one, you said, let me add this one quickly. The second one, you are saying that, we are progressing in our democracy, which is fine. But wouldn't it be annoying, especially from your point of view, if a different government should come in, let's say NDC, then everyone will stand up. Now, NDC will not chase you to maybe harm you or kill you. So now they'll start talking, even though it would be a good thing. Wouldn't you be very angry? What do you say to that?
Yes, in fact, it is not that the people of La have not taken to government or spoken about some of the ills that they go through in the hands of the government within their catchment area. They have done so many demonstrations. But most of the demonstrations that they are peaceful demonstrations that the youth or the citizens within the area have taken up have always met a very brutal resistance by the army. In fact, the last one that they went on, the military brutalized them, and the government never came to their aid. At the end of the day, a lot of them were sent to the hospitals to be treated. And consistently, anytime the people of La decide to demonstrate against the unlawful use of their lands, they are met with strong hands from the military. And that is how consistently they have suffered. And it seems the government is always supporting the military to brutalize them. And that is why it is not even fashionable for them to be demonstrating when their lands are being taken without recourse to them.
I see.
It is a major problem.
What do you expect, a different government to do? Because as it is, there are, people maybe have acquired certain lands legally. They have the legal documents to back their claim. What do you expect? Do you think a new government should say, okay, bygones be bygones? There's not much we can do? Or you think people will have to be revisited by the same law, and maybe the lands taken away and given to, the people, so to speak?
To be fair to government and to be fair to the people of La, government will need some of the lands for specific purposes. The same way the good people of La will also need some of the lands for themselves. Because as I talk to you now, Accra in itself, almost all the lands have been taken. If you quite remember, recently, the Achimota Forest, until the death of the then CEO in charge of the lands commission.
Sure.
Before we got to know that they've taken some of the lands within Achimota Forest. You see? Meanwhile, that is the only reserve within Accra proper that is left. That is the only reserve. And it is serving a good purpose in terms of flora and fauna. It is really helping the region. We getting our rainfall and so on and so forth, balancing the ecosystem. But little did we know that government officials were taking the lands for themselves. But you see, even if government wants to use some of these lands for a specific purpose, they first need to go to the owners and then sit down with the owners, go through proper negotiation, so that if the stools are also in need of some of the lands, they can also acquire. Because those areas are all game reserves. And it was marked for a good purpose for Accra. Today, as I talk to you now, our rainfall pattern within Accra is not the best. It's because all the forest cover is now being depleted. Now, the difference between the NPP government and the NDC is that the NDC always does things transparently, because the government really knows that this land belongs to a group of people and it was acquired for a purpose. So the purpose for which it was acquired, if it can no more be used, we first have to go back to the owners, negotiate with them. And then after the negotiation, we can then go ahead and then do what we want to do with the land. Currently, if you look at the University of Ghana, a huge land was given to government for the establishment of the University of Ghana. But today, if you go around the university, you realize that part of their lands are being used for private establishment. Private establishment. And who are those giving out those lands to the private people? It is people within the institution. It's people within the institution. But the law that gave them that land made it clear that you cannot use the land for any other purpose except for educational purposes. So these are some of the things that government needs to do to protect the indigents, so that private people with resources will not hide behind government and then acquire those lands to the detriment of the owners.
That makes sense. That is a sensible answer to give. Let me ask you to come to the politics of all this. Do you think, well, all Ghanaians will, the dissenting ones would agree that they've had a rotten governance, right? The government has not treated the whole country properly. But when it comes to the Ghana people, surely, can you tell me why, when you think about, let's say, Labadi, International Trade Center apparently being shared, the hospital knocked down, not being built, and some other issues, the pollution, the congestion, everything, the Ghans I would say, have been shortchanged. Why do you think anybody, any Ghan, who is above 18 years, should really support or even vote for the NPP? Why or how can this happen?
My brother, sometimes education is also key. When people are well informed, they act in a manner that enhances their living. Currently, I can say on authority that it will be very difficult for the NPP to take any part of the coastal towns within the region. When we talk of the coastal towns, that is where we have the concentration of the Gadangbes. Okay? But when you go into the middle and then the upper part, it is mixed with other tribes. But if you want to see the Gandangbe properly, it's within the coastal towns. In the last elections, in the 2020 elections, you saw the successes that was chalked by the NDC along the coast. In fact, constituencies that were not taken along the coast is Botiano English Amanfo, and then Ablekuma West. Apart from that, from Ada, Sege, Ningo Pram Pram, Tema East, Krowo, Lejokuku, Ladade Kotopon, Kole Klote, Odododio, Ablekuma South. They are all coastal constituencies.
Yes. You
realize that it was swept by the NDC. It tells you that the people within the traditional area properly are aware of the challenges that this current government is putting on them. The harsh conditions that they are facing, they are really aware of it. And I can tell you, God willing, in the next elections, constituencies like Botiano, which is also a coastal town, will be taken by the NDC. So the people are aware of the situation. They are facing the hardships. And you see, we have a government that is not ready to listen. And once you speak out, they come after you. So the youth of today are really fed up. Just recently, about a week ago, there was another research that came out on how people see the governance of the country.
Sure.
What the people think if elections were to be held. And I can tell you for a fact that all the analyses that were adduced as a result of the research showed that people have completely lost faith in the MPP administration.
Mr. Chatechao, before I let you go, this breaking news, at least, is this breaking news here, if you can give us some updates, and that is the STC bus that apparently has somersaulted accident on the Accra-Kaswa Road, carrying students. What is the latest info, if you've heard anything?
Yeah, in fact, I also saw the news item on TV during the midday news. But per the news item, what they said was that they were injured, no death was recorded. All the occupants have been sent to the hospital. Maybe the late news will tell us exactly what has happened. But as far as I'm concerned, although it's a gory accident, no death was recorded.
I see. That is good.
You know, this morning we had a slight rainfall. Yeah, and I don't know whether that was part of what caused the accident.
Obviously, we cannot speculate. We cannot speculate, but it is sad to note that, or to admit that, such accidents are very rampant on our on that side of the world.
That's very true.
In our world, I mean, buses, especially in Europe, buses don't have accident too, because they are timed. They are given the speed limits, and those guys are the drivers are properly trained. Very, very, very rare. Very rare you hear bus falling down or accident, something like that. But unfortunately, in our part of the world, it is almost always there like that, and it's a shame. Listen, I will let you go. Thank you very much, and hopefully this won't be this won't be the last time. Whenever you get near Mr. Ashimo, tell him Mansa Musa.
That's my regional chairman.
Okay. Tell him Mansa Musa want to have a chat with him. And you have one fan here, Mr. Abdul Razak Hussein. He said, Tete Chai, deep, a great guy. So you have one fan giving you the thumbs up. Listen, thank you
I'm
very
so
much.
grateful. I'm so grateful.
All right.
I'm so grateful.
Have a good evening. Cheers. Bye-bye. Right, so that was a young man. He lives in Accra. He's an Accra boy, discussing the issues about how lands in Accra is being taken left, right, and center by people who are not Ghanaians. I mean, look, we are all Ghanaians, so to speak. But to go and live in Kumasi and let's say all the lands is being taken by, let's say, the Ghanaians and Airways, and it won't happen. It doesn't happen. Even though you can buy land, but to be given the free choice of a government giving it to you with no competition and the rest, I think is in a simple man's terms, this is cheating. This is complete cheating, and I don't think we should allow it to happen. Let's go for small musical interlude. We'll be back. Right, so if you are listening, Mansa Musa is here, and it is time for Fire Will Burn You. That at the moment, look, there is a story here on this what we call it, Ghana Web. It's an eyewitness account of what led to burning of suspected robbers at Mosieso. It said an eyewitness account of what led to the burning of suspected robber at Mosieso. And if you read through the message, I mean, this thing, you see, we are always talking about poor governance and bad governance and the rest of it. You see, the Kufuor government is such that people don't trust anything anymore. So people are doing whatever they like, whatever they want. People are taking the law into their own hands, so to speak. And I will tell you that sometimes it isn't pretty. He said the incident that led to the death of a small-scale miner and the subsequent burning of 3 armed robbers at Musieso in the Wasa Amenfi West municipality keeps community folks thinking. He said the incident happened on Sunday morning, that is April 16, 2023, when the 3 armed robbers gunned down a worker of a small-scale mining company in the area during an operation at the Galamsey site. So, he said the community folks heard of a gunshot and went to the scene, and they realized a community member, Frank Arthur, was gunned down. I see. Radio. The news of the incident quickly spread throughout the town, and the community was outraged. They mobilized and launched a manhunt for the robbers. After an intense search, they managed to apprehend 3 out of the 4 suspects. However, instead of turning the suspects over to the police or to the authorities, the community members decided to take matters into their own hands and set the robbers ablaze. You see, this is worrying. Seriously, this is worrying. It could be very true that those people killed are armed robbers. It could be very true that they shot somebody. It could be very true that they've killed or murdered somebody. All the same, for citizens to become, citizen vigilante and, the purveyors of the law itself, honestly speaking, doesn't bode well for any well-meaning human being. Because if you are unfortunate, you are unlucky to find yourself in that area looking shabby or looking something or anything, you could be, taken on as an armed robber. And like the story goes, instead of them handing over to the police or to the authorities, the people decided to do their own law, beat the people and set them ablaze, set them on fire. Who knows that, those 3 killed, the purported or the supposedly or the alleged armed robbers, who can actually testify or, prove with all, with all the benefits of the doubt, who can actually prove that these were armed robbers or all of them were armed robbers? This is why the reason why modern society is built on laws, on governable laws, the laws that should exist for people. I mean, if people have been arrested, if these guys shot somebody, they were armed robbers, they went round and shot somebody. If they have been caught, they have been arrested by citizens, they got to be handed over to the police. The police will do their investigations. Then, if they find out it's true that they are armed robbers, the law itself will deal with them. The law. But here is the case. People are almost fed up with the current occurrences where now the police is not to be trusted at all. I know the villagers or the citizens at that Musieso will tell you that when we give them to the police, later they will pay bribes and they will be released. It's a fact. When people lose trust in governance or in governance systems, when people lose trust in authority and its machinery, this is what happens. And to me, it's not good at all. The earlier we all have to, raise our voices to, stop these occurrences, the better. Let me go in for this quick go for our what do you call it, sponsors, I'll be back.
Say dear, yenam top connect so e manisika de bagana if we asia fana nyina yentia kapre ane aye free top connect amasika mane aye mrekra ye wo hia ne se wo download with top connect app no e Play Store dia ma wo Android phone ana se wo use iPhone so a ko Apple Store na download the top connect aye simple kra top connect wa manda radio num so wo Europe North America and Asia wo mane wo dofu sika fa top connect so a aye ntem na emre na mawa hoto so sese die sika manu di foforo kra any top connect so we yan chechemu bia for top connect our +442 081 6155 and a +442 081 761 600 +447 882 950 088 and nasa hwehwe top connect our befontin tefidie nyina so top connect fasika mane wa dofo sunjemu a untia kapre top connect yensu ye die
Abusia, let me go straight to the point. We will find wada. Once you attack and send says so, you work as here. Come air conditioner, and so dumb air conditioning, and said that more Cassiasa. No crane say, one funny papa manama installation now, Mountia. With everything called enterprise, air conditioning installation at the Mawa, Udamo, a Rubia, okay, you. Never called room, it's a cold stores, and a Bavia, you didn't ever see. I was saying, you know, everything called enterprise. Every year a nice one had your mower, a Rubia, no, but you would dika. You install central air conditioning, split air conditioning, car air conditioning, never solar panels also. You want a nice Eddie mower, or you be a bus straight, not the only your body will fee. So what do you say? And our gas in a sense, say you'll come with the anal dear, and our co-store dear, Nina, a very nice and quick, but we will be a yet the amount. Also, more rich, I'm obviously dying, my can run over to me after you can lie with so. Yeah, be install air conditioning, Nibiamamu. Frank was 447508650279. Oh, wager, adjacent Ghana Fire Service. Wow, France 0544489343 and 0302906276. Your website, you know, everythingcode.org. And I send you email, kjamwako@yahoo.co.uk. Everything called enterprise, air conditioning, master, no.
National Democratic Congress NDC no nyam for money member mo UK ni Ireland chapter no. Ya yetienie. Bena so say beto aba every chapter chairman fofo. Ya said the chinene mum report on the way. Enyo nyam for Dr. Joe Ajimai, the restoration man. The father say every party no wedim kind. O dia mo nyesema kutile yi. They will to the place over performance room koso. Oni mu adwumade de e fa ne hotitiro na esini nan so ne made bebre no de gu akwemu a obeye de amaye bini se o sigina ye esiko no dwumade bia be kire party office na odisika £3 empemenum na ato ase eye £5,000 o santre magwo ne mama ho so £1,000 na ebe show mu dwumade mu kina na esigina ye Don't swear, but you're a for all that true mudin at the party in Hoodie. Ombre crow, almost a becker or mudicat, and 10 times so. Now I don't at the Kaya home. And what was me and said the answer? Party moving in Fua, only the red ever show me, Sebiano, about 2 saffron, what's nothing. Not the idea show me, said, over Buhop and Marco. Why did the Brenano by Amayo? Only a Sapatra was ever mount to ma. Sunny D. Dr. Joe Ajimai, the restoration man. Chapter chairman and Yantumano.
Oyezu Oyeza, Munya NDC nya ewo United Kingdom na Ireland chapter. The mabri so michia na menyu ba bezian abato hon komo. Dem a ware nyim na oka kakra na yakoto abaye ze yanim penyimfo a wo party do. Or the chapter ya made home come na menyu ba bezi chairman aqua no home come the mabri chairman aqua campaign for we jina there to wando abana wombe chairman nemu chairman akwade ojina ho prekope nti mesraw de ebo to waba na eza ma chairman akwa na wabe chairman bo United Kingdom and Ireland chapter usane de okita nhihye bebre a yame na dom na so be chairman a opede ozuboa awo a eye member wo United Kingdom na Ireland na NDC party ni na da na dom nhihye no mu binyi the establishment of a welfare program. Dem welfare program yi no mu foso binyi abrubiara NDC ni ehwehwem bo wo sekasama fem bibi kakre bi a ezeboto to nzama wa bra ahokyera aba no dem welfare program yi bohwe na wonsa ka bibi kakra ofi £50 zuko £400 na enyesika etumi botua eyi ye chairman akwana adwe na opede odzeboa NDC ibiso nyi de NDC member biara obenya any immigration issue ana mbrem nsemi biara wo bibia otena wo United Kingdom ana Ireland chairman akwa establish mpenyumfo a wobetsena ho na wahwe na advice biara oyembra kono do na wodi amaw impo se pelo yenyi bi no wegina na waka wasem bi amaw wo United Kingdom ha ana Ireland da mpenyumfi wo mu binum ye lawyers a wobotum wegina ma amaw no waji bibi kakre bi wa bra wobotum wa abo na wo bibiara so akodo welfare program kuriyara suya chairman akwa opede ozubobo azi onu so behwe na yenuanuma wo United Kingdom na Ireland nyinara awona wo ye into event organization photographers awona wo shishe bibia amanfo ye one parties one weddings ningina obaka wo nyinara bom dem obeya NDC member biara obenya any event do oye wedding outdooring bibiara no wetu wa bobo no wa ya ama no wa bra onkotue sika ti dem a okakafo obi wo pado ana enchen bi na wa ba da mad na man chairman akona nimpemfo so bohwe na abibiara any welfare ana any social issue biara oba affecting member biara no obaba pay wechi na bibiara de what mo ana bibiara de wo ye na wo bo program wa kodo no wetu wa yendam na ahomka wa ba welfare program yi bibia se nyamobo na se chairman akwa obeye chairman wo United Kingdom na Ireland no munsam kakra na me putu hu za atrewi odobobaji na woda aboa awo member na woda aboa yen NDC MPyi na pebe nazi munua NDC nya ewo United Kingdom na Ireland to waba former chairman akwa nyamobo na senensa kazebiu na ono so obegina na wahwede mama ka ginara odzibe yi dwuma na party na akwa n'enyim.
Right, Fire Benny is what you are listening to. Mansa Musa, I'm here and I'm rocking and rolling. You are all invited. Yeah, I'm ready. It's Baumia is MPP's choice to break the 8. Really? Really? To break the 8? Baumia? What 8 exactly are we talking about? What is the 8 Baumia is talking about? Because from where I'm sitting, I'm reading the news that a lot of taxes will have to go up. The IMF negotiation is actually hitting the brick wall. No one is taking it seriously again. Our people are going everywhere begging for support, and they are not getting it. Then we have headline like Baumia to break the 8. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand. Mintias how Baumia can break the 8. Huh? Yebesaba. Right. So the question I am asking myself here when I saw this news, it said Baumia is NPP's choice. You know, NPP's choice to break the 8. The thing is, the 8, where is that 8 line, you know, to break it? Is it like a biscuit or is it like some, I don't know what it means, but let me go for quick advert. I'll come back and we'll continue talking. Don't go away.
Abusia, let me go straight to the point. We will find wada. Once you attack and send me says so, you work as here. Come air conditioner, and so dumb air conditioning, and said that more Cassiasa. No crane say, one funny papa, and I'm installation now, Mountia. With everything called enterprise, air conditioning installation at the Mawa, Udamo, a Rubia, okay, you never called room, it's a cold stores, and a Bavia, you didn't ever see, I was saying, you know, everything called enterprise. Ever had a nice one at your Mawa, a Rubia, no, but you would dika. You install central air conditioning, split air conditioning, car air conditioning, never solar panels also. You want a nice Edinburgh or you be a bus straight now for your body will fee. So what do you say? And our gas and say you'll come with the anafia dear and our coast store dear. Nina, a very nice and quick but we will be a yet the amount. Also, more bridge, I'm sit down or make anyone over to me afraid you can lie with so. Yeah, install air conditioning Ibiamamu. Frank class 447508650279. Wager adjacent Ghana Fire Service wa France 0544489343 and 0302906276. Your website everythingcode.org and I send you email kjamwako@yahoo.co.uk. Everything Code Enterprise air conditioning master no.
Say dear, yenam top connect so e manisika de bagana if we yasia fana nyina yentia kapre. Ane aye free. Top connect amasika mani aye mrekra. Ye wo hia ne se wo be download the Top Connect app no e Play Store. Diama wo Android phone. And as we use iPhone so ko Apple Store na download the Top Connect. Aye simple kra. Top Connect wa manda radio num so wo Europe, North America and Asia. Wo mane wo dofu sika fa Top Connect so aye ntem na emre na mawa hoto swonso sese die sika manye di foforo kra any Top Connect so we yan chechemu bia for Top Connect our +442 081 6155 and a +442 081 761 600 +447 882 950 088 and nasa hwehwe Top Connect our Belfont interfidie nyina so Top Connect Fasika mane wa dofo sunjemu a untia kapre Top Connect yensu ye dienie
I'm telling you, I'm looking into the camera and telling you, say you are the joke of the century. You are the joke of the century. And sit down. Say you may be out by, say you see a trap by a VM. And sit down. You are the joke. It is a me case is up here. Say, and then I could follow the side down. Or prepare one more electoral commissioner. Offer the year and the deputy. Offer a Gabi as a Rotterdam. And this one, no offer Professor Tibedia to offer family, Professor Tibedia to you. One funny pound our young one of Bush are falling Nayon for no form of electoral commission or Abna Kofi Young Abena on so many now from Kubu. I buy a between MPP being on my way above. Obi any one Ghana hanwa who MPP say and na MPP o ko fa Jesus Christ ko fa Muhammad komsani Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam e bet now say Jesus and a flag bearer komsani Muhammad and a running mate yentu aba in the name of MPP omo very poto for the first time in the history Jesus name Muhammad very was Yandia, Yantiasu Prim. At the tea, no, how they have been a dear to follow the Yakumu. May catch them. he will be the best of the joke of this century. He should dare. And he bra, ya never trouble. And to me, it is a very emergency for her or park for the name electoral commissioner. So I've never to a police station. I've never got to an electoral commission.
Electoral police station.
You and your dear, or more pa, or more tinting gun of one sack. Near bedroom hall. Now, they bedroom hall. And when we say, we are saying, says, you told me, Uto, Udokna, your digital.
Now, my main comment is.
Well, no. I am not getting into all those things. But, it is failing. And you people should be asking them why they are failing. If you are given a chance to govern and you fail, don't expect to continue to govern. And that's not just for the New Patriotic Party, it's for every political party. We don't, democracy is not just about elections. You elect so that people can govern, so that they can improve the people's welfare. But if you've been an abject failure, where we have a situation where, quote unquote, the fundamentals have all gone wrong, why would you actually be wasting so much time talking about beyond or breaking the age? You have not achieved your task, and the failure to achieve your task is enough to jettison you from office.
You think the finance minister should?
Well, no. I am not getting into all those things, but it is failing, and you people should be asking them why they are failing.
The clergy and the religious when they speak, they shake the foundation. And it is only the church that will address meaningfully the canker going on. And they want to silence all credible voices. Now, today, we will reveal everything to you. This question has, direct relation with the pronouncements of Reverend Professor Marty. Let me tell you why people do not want Professor Marty to talk. Listen, politicians have tried all means to muzzle me, to get me, but they can't. They come with bribes, fat envelope, $100,000. Listen. I want everybody to listen. Politicians came to my house with fat envelope, 100,000.
Right. So, as you heard me speaking to Mr. Tetechai, I asked him about the incident on Accra-Kaswa Road, the accident. And the latest so far, I think it's good news because no sort of death or anything, just injuries. So I've got someone who works with the Ghana Road Safety, program. And Authority. Thank you very much.
National Road Safety Authority. Tetechai is my boss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know he also had something to do.
He knows me very well.
Oh, I see. If I knew, I would have mentioned your name to him. We just finished about 15 minutes ago talking about so many things. The Ghana traditional lands that is being shared left, right, and center and everything. Anyway, thank you for the time you have accorded me. I'm really grateful. What is the other time I read, the statistics? Would you say accident or incidents minimizing, the rate or the level or the quantity, if you can say that, the intensity of it, is it coming down or is still remaining same level or is going up?
Thank you very much for the interaction. And I'm sorry you have not been getting through me. I'm very sorry. What is happening is that since last year, 2022, the crash situation in the country, as recorded by the MTTD of Ghana Police, has seen marginal reduction by month, up to March. The figures we have. You know, every year, month by month, quarterly and yearly, we compare existing figures or statistics with the previous years.
Sure.
And if I'm not lying, for about 10 years, we've not had consistent reduction in all indicators as we are having it in 2022. Although it's marginal, it's hopeful. We are hopeful that this situation, if continues into the future, we may be having single or double digit crash recorded in the near future.
So
hello.
Okay, yeah. So what you are saying is that at the moment it is going down a bit, but it is not so much significant as to be happy with so far. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's going down, which we are happy about this recent development because it has not happened in a long while. For instance, every year the statistics go high with a margin of, let's say, 100, 200 and thereabout. But in recent time, it started going up marginally, and we can even now record about 500 increment reduction. For instance, the total cases reported in crashes between January and March last year, 2022, was 3,932. But this year, the total cases reported reduced from 3,932 to 3,340, meaning that about 500 more than 500 crash didn't occur, which is about 15% reduction. It has never been so in previous years. If I will be right, about 10 years before, almost every year it increments, but this year it has reduced to 15%, which is a very good news for road safety management. And whatever every stakeholder is reduction, we strengthen it and see to a more higher margin reduction.
I see. That's good to know. I read that about, it said Ghana records 3,340 road crashes in the first quarter of 2023. Does this resonate with, is this the same we are talking about?
That's the same I'm talking about. That
so this figure is lower than previous years. The same month, the previous quarter. The same quarter last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the same.
What do you attribute this reduction to?
32.
What do you attribute the reduction to? Why do you think this is happening?
There are, let's say, it is the bigger one is collaboration of all sectors. The intensive collaboration of all stakeholders, led by the National Road Safety Authority. In 2020, we came up with a campaign which we named Stay Alive. With this campaign, we resulted in bringing every stakeholder on board. If you are in enforcement, you are an NGO also participating in road safety activities and programs. If you are a road engineer and other, even the operators, the transport operators and union, we brought all of them under the Stay Alive. Whilst we are creating awareness and then advocacy. Other programs like for the police, for the transport operators are all drawn under the Stay Alive. So I think the cooperation of all stakeholders led by the Stay Alive campaign has resulted in this. In it, we had our authority from the commission. So there were certain enforcement aspects that we also introduced, like directing drivers to use logbooks on long journey, use 2 drivers on long journey, and then a compulsory training program that we started with the drivers and stopped to refine and review the models that we are using. The police, along the line, the police also came up with some 2 projects, Operation Parry and Operation Pi. The Operation Parry means that police action against rider indiscipline. And then the Pi is police invisible eye. In this project, the police fixed cameras, invisible cameras on motors and in vehicles. And so as they ply the road with drivers and motorists, they detect infractions of various levels among the drivers and motorists. What they did was that they weren't apprehending and prosecuting immediately, but they were cautioning those who were found violating road traffic regulations. They warn you, you sign a board, they teach you what to do the next time. So we realized that the death toll that was increasing among motor riders was reducing, which affected the statistics. And again, the collaboration with transport operators and commercial driver unions also brought a very good relationship between us. So any directives, any bylaw that we put there, the management of the operators and the unions make sure that the drivers abide by them, by them monitoring them. When the driver defaults, the driver is subsequently sanctioned. So people started behaving, or drivers started behaving well on the road, better than they used to do. The major cause of crashes in Ghana is indiscipline. It is about 85 to 90% of all crashes we have. So when we tend to behave well, we are able to change our behaviors and attitudes on the road. Although, notwithstanding, other facilities should also come into play. I think a lot of the reductions will be seen. So I think awareness creation has heightened. The project of the police and the cooperation of the transport unions and how do we call it, and the operators has greatly contributed to it. And also, of not forgetting the media, who have played a very, very critical and important role in the Stay Alive campaign by opening their doors to us. Pay a little or no payment at all. They broadcast our educational interviews, discussion, advocacy, and all the rest. And so awareness, a lot of awareness has been created. And so I think stakeholders are largely responsible for the reduction in the crashes in the country.
So it is a combination of all the above, all these, and the police being proactive with the other authorities, making the drivers be aware of their responsibility, their obligations, and in the end, what you haven't mentioned though is the quality of, let's say, driving itself, then quality of roads, quality of vehicles. What have we seen so far?
All right. Thank you very much. The quality of driver behavior has improved, although there is more room for improvement. It has improved. Formerly, you see more drivers involving in drink driving and then overloading and other things. With gradually, the rickety vehicles are being done away with in the country. Although it is not complete, it has improved drastically. Our roads also, notwithstanding the bad nature, some of our highways have seen dualization and expansion. But I will admit that our roads in Ghana leave more to be desired. We need to improve it greatly. We need to improve it greatly, because as much as vehicles are imported into the country every year, it increases the vehicular number in the country. The roads too should be expanded to complement the number of vehicles in the country. So although expansion, dualization is on the high, we also want to say that we need a very good maintenance culture, which Ghana obviously we lack. When the signs and the markings are faded or broken down or stolen, we fail to replace them or maintain them. And so for our engineering aspect, there is more to be done, although we are doing better than before.
You see,
mentioning.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, you ask the question.
I was going to say it is good that you are saying this, and that shows you are being very honest with us, because recently I've seen the video clips. I've watched Ghana News. I mean, some of the clips on is it Onuya FM and other places where a lot of road, what do we call it, road safety equipments, i.e. the traffic lights. Most of them are not working at very dangerous, sensitive places. And, when you say that we are still lacking on the, what we call a maintenance and the rest side, that is very good to acknowledge. Let me ask you, do you drive yourself?
I don't. For now, I don't drive.
No, I mean, do you know how to drive? I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't drive either these days, but I can drive. So the question was to say, are you qualified? Are you do you have a license to drive and the rest? Don't you?
Yeah, I have a license to drive.
Okay. So coming back to where we are at the moment, what do you think would have caused this serious accident of a bus overturning or just falling on its side on a road? Buses shouldn't be running that quickly, even when it's raining. I don't know, but what will the latest you know about the latest accident, Accra Kaswa Road?
It is actually Accra Winneba Road. It went beyond the Kaswa Road.
Okay,
Accra. They were traveling from Accra to Cape Coast and getting nearer to Winneba, a town called Gomua Budwata.
Okay.
The preliminary investigation says there was a head-on collision between the STC bus that is transversing the children to school with a tipper truck which was also coming from around the Cape Coast area. So it was a head-on collision. I don't actually know whether one of the vehicles, in an attempt to dodge an obstacle on the way or blockage on the way, ran into the other one's lane. But the preliminary investigation says that it was a head-on collision. And these head-on collisions, it comes about basically from reckless driving on the part of drivers. Reckless driving. So I suppose the two vehicles were speeding. I don't know which one. Our team is on the ground to do detailed crash investigation to see the root cause and what to do about it. So maybe in the coming days we could talk about that. But immediate investigation shows that it was recklessness leading to head-on collision, and so the impact made both vehicles to fall. and because the high occupancy bus was full of passengers, they have to cut the bus to save the passengers in the bus. That is what
Yeah,
happened.
surely that is what happens. So most of times, we are. I mean, very how do I say it? Comforting to know, that not no one died from this accident, which is very good.
Yeah, very refreshing and very, very. We are very thankful for no fatality in the crash.
So we can say thanks to your efforts. I mean, you guys doing this.
The awareness creation. What happens is that we have to monitor this till after 30 days of the crash.
Okay.
A crash is said to have no fatality when after 30 days nobody died.
Okay.
When after because there are recorded injuries. Some may die through complications from the injury. So before the 30 days, if someone still dies, it is a death as a result of the crash. So we'll be monitoring this till after 30 days.
The medical people, the medical professionals will tell you that the very few minutes after every accident is the most crucial time. So that's why I said we are lucky and we are thankful because at least for now, no death has been recorded.
For now, and the current information I'm getting is that there is only one person left at the hospital. The rest were treated and discharged because their injuries were minor, and so we are very thankful.
Okay. Right, so you've spoken about attitudes that needs to be changed or has changed. The drivers now, you say they have this mandatory, what we call it, retraining sessions, which is good. What about the attitudes of, let's say, the road transport law enforcement officers, i.e. the police? Has this attitude changed, or still? Quietly, they are still collecting the bribes here and there, looking away from dangerous situations because you've squeezed some 10 cedis in his hands, he will let you carry on. What is happening in that respect?
For the police, I can't say much, but a lot of them are now very careful because the current IGP, when you are reported to the head office or you are detected, nowadays there are these surveillance cameras at sections of our road. So some of the times it detects police officers collecting money and they are sanctioned, they are suspended actually. So most of them are being careful, but these cameras are few in the country and they are not at a lot of places. So those who are not detected, I think some of them indulge in this misbehavior attitude. But I've not seen one in recent times, but with my own eyes that I can attest to. But most of them that we work with, I remember this Easter, we were on outreach and enforcement program with the police. Even the police IGP came around. And when we finished, we sensitized some of the drivers. Immediately, nobody asked them anything because it has become a norm and a culture. They just folded money and gave us, and we said, no, that's not the reason why we are here. So I think that attitude, people are accepting this as a normal norm, which should be shunned. We are encouraging everybody that now there are mobile phones, there are ways you can contact authorities. You can call anybody if your time is wasted and you do the right thing. It will help the police themselves to shape up. And so nobody should encourage giving money to the police if even they requested it from you.
I see. Do we now have speed cameras on our roads? I know Ghana we don't have speed limits, or do we?
We don't have speed. We have the speed limit is the science that we have, but currently the National Road Safety Authority has mounted one solar speed radar at the beginning of the Accra section of the motorway, which detects speeds of vehicles. One, for piloting to see how it will go. Then we'll build on that. The police, per my knowledge, the police in collaboration with the National Road Safety Authority has finished documentation on mount speed cameras on our roads. And if I'm not lying, it will start by the end of this year, early January. Every documentation has finished, and so it will come, because we've seen that manual enforcement is now a thing of the past. And so in our side of the world, we should also go into automation of road traffic enforcement.
Brilliant. So if I have to understand from you, Ghana in the what we call DVLA driver's manual, what is the national speed limit? For instance, here is 60. 60, is it 60 miles or 60 kilometers an hour? Take 60 miles an hour. 60. What is the mileage in Ghana? You know, they call it national speed limit.
The speed limit, the national speed limit is in various categories. One, on the motorway, which is only one motorway between Accra and Tema, the highest we could go is 100 kilometers per hour.
Jesus Christ.
On a highway, 100 kilometers per hour. Motorway.
So we are looking at roughly about 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That is a lot, isn't it? Because
the motorway when it was constructed,
yeah,
the way it was, the nature of it, and then the number of vehicles on the way, that was the limit that was given to it. But now that we can attest that the motorway has lost its former structure.
Its quality. It has lost its quality. I mean, that's the fact.
Quality, yeah, the quality, that is it. It should be reviewed, but because if law is made, reviewing it takes a long process. It has not been. So through our advocacy and sensitization, we tell our road users, especially the drivers, that although the speed limit for the motorway is 100, use your judgment.
Use your brain.
Just see the nature.
Have we built any infrastructure on the road? Because here on motorways, you don't only see the lines on the ground, but also electronic boards telling you 2 kilometers ahead what is there. If there is accident occurs somewhere, reduce speed limit. Even at this particular time, in all those informations, almost every 2 kilometers you see something. Have we done anything like that?
No, honestly, there is nothing. It's just the speed radar that we recently went to fix at the beginning of the Accra motorway section, which reads your speed. If you are going above speed limit, it will indicate red. When you are be within the limit, it will indicate green. But I know from my source, I know there are plans to reconstruct the motorway to suit modern trends, and so we'll be seeing those things very soon.
Hopefully we will get there.
And then I'm not finished with the speed limit.
Go ahead.
On our highways,
yes.
On our highways, the stipulated speed limit where there are no settlements on the highway is 90 kilometers.
Okay.
Where there are settlements, 50 kilometers. 50 kilometers on settlements, and where there are school areas, market areas, and then where there are crowd is 30 kilometers. These are the accepted speed limits in the country.
I see. So you are saying in the middle of the towns and all those places, reduce
50
to 50. Okay.
To 50.
All right. And what about the built-up areas? I mean, urban areas like Accra City, Kumasi City Center. what is it we are looking at?
It is 250, but when you get to crowded, then you reduce to 30 kilometers.
Okay. So it is almost like we have in London. Now, London and built up areas mostly from 30 now to 20. It used to be 30 now.
All right,
it's up to 20 and 20 and even reducing, because some places they call it gentrification. They have built islands in the middle of the road just to slow drivers down here and there. In this country, it is only when I came here I got to know this philosophy in driving or transportation. It's all about one thing only: safety. Just safety. I passed my driving test after 3 attempts. It is the 4th one I passed. And all the failure is not like I cannot maneuver, I cannot do this. It's all about the safety aspect. So is that what we've started training, teaching our drivers? It's not telling them it's not competition. It's from taking you from A to B, and it's about reaching a place safely. It's all about safety. Is that the education now?
That is the education. We say that safety is priority. We should all take our own safety and security into our hands. When you say you are a driver, the driver is the one who is able to leave one destination, one original destination, get to another destination successfully. If you are not able to get to the purported destination, it means you are not a driver. Safety first, and in thinking about safety, there are procedures, there are measures you should take, things you should do, and things you should not do. Driving is regulation, rules, and measures. And so you just can't be on the road and just do anything anyhow. Killing innocent people who don't even know why they are killed or maimed. And so the safety of the innocent person and your own safety is paramount to any other thing. That's the education.
My experience in Ghana, well, not long ago I've been there, but the experience still remains that, look, today when I was coming to the studio, where I crossed the road, there is no zebra crossing, there's no nothing. But the moment the very first vehicle saw me, everybody slowed down. Wherever, that sort of thing. It is the whole responsibility is on you, the driver. Even if a pedestrian makes a mistake, whatever it is, the last result is you, the driver. Is this something you are teaching? Because my experience, let me finish. My experience is that you cross a road and in Accra, something. Then if it's that kind of thing. A driver insulting you for crossing a road. You see what I mean? It doesn't happen here. How do we get to that, that sort of culture?
I think gradually we are getting there. That's why now in Ghana we have inculcated the road safety education in our educational curriculum. Some of the schools it is used as examinable questions for them, so that we will inculcate this behavior we are talking about, for instance, in the children, and they will grow up with it. People think they are always right. In Africa, everybody blames the other for something wrong fully done. We don't take responsibility. That is why our Stay Alive campaign aims to
seriously, I don't want to cut you. I don't want to cut you, but here in the UK, I will tell you this. Here in the UK, if you knock somebody down, the police will they wouldn't even blame. No. The blame is on the driver straight away. Because you see, it is all about the fact that you driving that huge machine, the metal rolling on the road, you have the advantage. It is up to you to make sure you don't knock anybody down. So that is the law here. Anyway, your name, you see, the name I was given is only the first name, and you being a PRO for the Road Safety Authority is a big responsibility. I need to have the official proper name. There's somebody here. I don't know whether he wants to speak to you or he came to speak to me, but I'll go to him anyway. But tell us your full proper name so that we can address you properly.
The name is Pearl Adushu Satekla.
Now you give me work. Now you give me work because I know of Pearl. So let me say I know the Pearl is here. Pearl. Then the next one is
Adushu Adu. SU Adushu. And then the Satekla. SA.
Go ahead.
CE. CKLA.
Ah, brilliant. What a beautiful name. Pearl Adasu Satakla. Wow.
Correct.
Jesus Christ. Oh, if you were my girlfriend, I would be very proud indeed. You know my girlfriend's name? Tell us. Pearl Adasu Satakla. And someone will ask me, is she from Greece, or where is she from anyway? Let me go on the phone to see if the gentleman wants to speak to you, or maybe he came for me alone. Hello?
NFM Radio.
Emudaho.
Comrade here. Good evening, all. I just wanted to say something about the road traffic in Ghana.
Yeah.
I thank Madam for coming on to educate us as to what is going on.
Madam Pearl, like
Madam Pearl.
You watch this film, the Pirates of Caribbean. You know their ship is called the Black Pearl.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Pearl. And I heard you said something about majority of the problem is to do with indiscipline, which is very true. And I believe that the problem has to do with all the people involved. It's to do with the general public, as well as the police and the government itself. There are failures on behalf of the government, there are failures on behalf of the police, and there are failures on behalf of the public. In as much as the public or the drivers are not disciplined and they drive recklessly, also the police, some of the police too, involve themselves in bribery. And there's a saying that who watches the watchman, So all what I can say is that, and you said there are limited, cameras that monitors, the way those police that takes bribe. So the cameras are not everywhere to monitor them. And also, the lack of surveillance is to do with the inability of the government to provide the necessary prerequisite, and resources to equip you guys in the road and safety to do your work. For example, if we look at the UK here, one example is I myself, I was one time involved in, overdriving. And after a short while, I received a letter from some of these speed cameras that I would have to pay. They gave me an option, or I would have to attend a course whereby I will pay
mandatory retraining. Yes,
exactly, mandatory retraining. So I had options to either pay a huge fine or go to that mandatory retraining, and that training wasn't free. You have to pay some money, So it's a form of what? A punishment, as well as also you paying something to the state. You see, we don't have some of all this.
Let me ask you something. You see, did you learn your driving here in the UK?
Oh yes, I did.
Because I am surprised. I'll tell you something. After I had passed my driver's, I've got a license. I really knew that now I know how to drive. I mean, I'm not bluffing. I mean, look, we thought we drove in Ghana, was driving in the castle and this and blah, blah, blah. I tell you what, when you go through the experience here, so I'm surprised you still went to do overspeeding.
Well, what I'm saying is that
listen, all of us we do. Only that maybe you don't get caught.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know, sometimes you are late, you are in hurry, and you forget that there's a speed camera here. You know, I see a lot of drivers.
But let's not take the conversation away from the PRO.
So,
anyway, the difference.
Just to let you know that.
Yusuf, 1 second. I want you to add this. The difference between what we have here and in Ghana is that when you do that, how do we call it, wrong move, when you do that bad driving, there's no way you are going to tell the policeman from South London, oh, can I give you £50? Can I give you 10? Can I give you £10? No way. Maybe he can he can warn you to. I've been warned, and luckily I was let go, but not because I gave £10 or a fiver. No way. Anyway, that we can
so you see, even in the major roads here, you see road and safety patrol officers, in their uniform patrolling, so everything is in order. The government has made provisions, and they have made available the resources to monitor every violation of the Road Traffic Act. And if you are caught, you will be paid. So what I'm saying is there is failure on the part of the government not being able to provide all this to make our roads safe. And secondly, also the police enforcement officers too, some of them that takes bribe, they should stop. Or the government has to put in additional enforcement measures to monitor the police. And thirdly, the road users, the drivers who are driving recklessly, violating the rules, when they are caught, they will have to find them. So when all these things are put in place, the government has to make sure that there are adequate roads, and no potholes. Like the accident that we were talking about, on this Winneba Road, it could have been that one of them was trying to dodge a pothole. There are so many potholes.
As a driving instructor will tell you to drive carefully. When you see a pothole, slow down and go through it. You don't try to dodge it. This is what happens. Anyway, listen. I want Madam Pearl to give us the lowdown, as they say, the knowledge from Accra, from Kumasi, from Ghana, because as for us, we have a very beautiful picture to paint from here, but we want the same picture to be painted in Accra, at Kaswa, Cape Coast, Sekendi, Tamale, Ura, everywhere. Madam Pearl, to come to you once again, I'm speaking to Madam Pearl Adasu Setekla. I like this name too much. Beautiful name. And she is the PRO for National Road Safety Authority in Ghana. So, he's speaking with authority, so to speak. So now, ma'am, in Ghana as we are today, if, one wants to drive a new driver or a young driver, usually, mostly, what is the preparation apart from the physical manual driving? Have we got this modern equipments like computerized, simulation of how to drive on the roads, special manuals, DVD or videos to watch, those kind of things? Do we have them?
Thank you very much. Yeah, in Ghana, now most of the driving schools have bought this equipment, but because of the fee charges.
Because of the what?
Sorry,
your line dropped. I couldn't hear. Driving. We couldn't hear. Because of what?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm saying that most of the driving schools that are coming up in Ghana now have this equipment that you are talking about. Myself, I went through 2 driving schools for training, and I have manual. I had manuals that I read through videos that were shown me, and so there are training schools that even train the police. Training schools that are well equipped that train the police. One of the such driving schools, the top tech driving school. We have a few of them like that. But most of our commercial drivers, the problem is with most of the commercial drivers who are trained manually by their bosses, the people who call mates, train on the park, they go to DVLA, they get a license from there. Then because they don't understand the English language, now what DVLA is doing is that before they test them, they have developed models that will test them in their own understanding, their dialect. That is what DVLA is doing. But I would say our own still needs more room for improvement.
It is. I think it is, because now I was getting excited, but now I'm worried, because if people are not being trained adequately, who is okay? Let me see if I can pick them. If people are not being trained adequately to handle, especially passenger vehicles. You see, here, for instance, I think we should have the same thing in Ghana, where we have the grades, like you can drive automatic, you cannot drive manual, they have a special license for you. Then the size of vehicle, in sizes, up to the articulated lorries. And these, especially the Arctic lorries, they train you like they are training a pilot. I mean, the things you go through to get that, like, that's why those people are paid heavily here in the UK. Some of them command as much as 60,000 pounds a year. They are very good at what they do. My question is, are we going through this process, or we are just going with our eyes half closed and and those kind of things? So maybe a bit of bribery here and there, they let them through. Because if we are letting them through without the requisite, the adequate proper training, then that is the results we are having on our roads. Or what do you say?
Thank you very much. The various categorization of licensing, like we are saying, is in Ghana too. You don't just go and drive an articulator. You have a license category for you. When you start, like myself, I have category A, which is the saloon car. Before you are paid to go and drive a minibus or a bigger bus, you still have to go back for training. And DVLA will make sure that you are taken through testing that will prove that you are well equipped to go on to the next stage of driving a bigger vehicle. That is what is done here. But in our system, the other, how do we call it, the other speaker said, the system is so orderly at your end. Our own, although the standard has been created, people still find a way of maneuvering themselves and jumping the gun. I'm not saying it is thoroughly like that, but the system is also just like that. We don't just have one licensing for all categories of vehicles. We have various articulated trailers, buses, various licensing, category of licensing, A, B, C, D, up to F. And so before you upgrade your license, you have to go back for training, testing, for them to be satisfied that you can handle that particular vehicle. And most of those big vehicles and buses, they are under operators. They are under a corporate management. And so, surprisingly, those The intercity vehicle. You understand? So we just have the system like that.
Okay.
But jumping the gun and passing through the back door, because of indiscipline on the part of the individual and some institutions. This is what
I totally understand. There is I think someone has called him from Accra. We'll go to him. But you see, I remember all those days in the 80s when we were trained. Just because, we were sent from the castle to go and do the driver's licenses, I think the DVLA guys, maybe some of us, we shouldn't have passed. But we all passed. You see what I mean? Later, that bad habits, it followed me all the way to London. And really, I had to pay, waste a lot of time, pay a lot of money to get the license here. Because here, you got to pass it. You really have to pass. And when you pass, you see that, you know how to drive. Let's see. 4913 from Ghana. Who are you, Le? Why
Mansa Musa.
Yes.
Mansa Musa. Emudaho.
Yes, NFM Radio, Emudaho. Kasa.
Aboni, mami chami ni abape.
Okay.
Chalo, nibuo ni mafu. Mansa Musa.
Yes.
Pe aruti minka.
Mete unka pato hane kasa no.
Abolo.
Minimum. Abolo what is say?
Nyanya di say si ade eduma na juwe fi nsem.
It's not a from my race, but I want the number still a friend.
Yeah, my friend. Mansa Musa.
Yes.
Actually, I have this concern concerning the Accra Cape Coast Road.
Okay.
And I even forget to call my sister on this issue. So I was just happy listening to her on the show. Mansa Musa, to me, I can say most of the accidents caused on that road is because of a lot of police barrier. The police checkpoint on the road is too much.
I don't
get
you. Listen, I don't get you. If the police are on the road, then it should be safe or safer.
Mansa Musa, what happened is, you see, Mansa Musa, what happened is, it caused a lot of traffic. So, anytime the drivers are stuck in the traffic and have their way more, then they overspeed. Mansa Musa, you see, whenever I go or I travel on that road going to Cape Coast or Takrade, you see, because of the checkpoints are too many, so there is a lot of traffic. So the drivers, any little chance they have, they overspeed. Any little, Mansa Musa, from Kaswa to Cape Coast,
you see, the point is, Mr. Abolo, this is not a good excuse to give at all. It shouldn't be a reason, let alone excuse. Look, the driving instructions or the rules are that you have to be considerate. You have to keep the safety of everybody in mind. So it doesn't matter if there should be only 2 police checks, but now there are 10. And for that reason, you have to overspeed. That one alone is criminal. And you cannot blame the police. We don't have to sound as though we are blaming the police presence. That one is wrong.
Mansa Musa, my observation, I'm just sharing my observation.
Okay.
And secondly, you can see most of the roads are safe.
Okay.
And moreover, you don't have a sign board or wherever, maybe here you can go 50 or you can go 70 or you can go 80. You know, those things are not on the road. Moreover, there is a sign really around the area.
Okay.
So most of the tipper trucks also apply the road.
Okay. All right.
You see,
I totally understand you that you were just trying to explain what you think the reasons are. But really, if some drivers are overspeeding because they think there are so many police checks, those drivers are doing something wrong. They are really causing death unnecessarily, and they should be tackled.
So this is my observation, and I've just passed it through my sister, so they can do so, because that's what I observed. Mansa Musa, I know I can take my small girl from a Western girl last time. Anytime I'm on that road, I'm not safe, because you know I'm from Angola, and our road is more safer. Although there is accident on that road,
it's very
but there is
strange.
more safer.
Yes, it's very strange that when those days I used to live in Ghana with Accra Cape Coast Road wasn't that dangerous. It was always like Accra Kumasi. But now Accra, for the past 10, maybe 20 or so years, Accra Cape Coast Road has become some death trap. Anyway, let's go to Pearl. Now we have to finish the conversation with her. Pearl, what do you make of this? Yes.
Hello.
Hang on, Pearl. Abolo, do you want to say something?
No. Let Pearl continue.
Okay. Pearl, what do you say to this particular information we are hearing? Apparently, there are too many police checks, and so when the drivers are released from those checks, then they have to speed to make up their time. Is that a consideration?
Not at all. What is happening is that the drivers, as I said earlier on, indulge in a lot of indisciplinary acts on the road, which endangers the lives of passengers and innocent pedestrians. That is why it is necessary for the visibility of the police on the highways. If they have any ulterior motives, I do not know. When you are in Ghana and you have been traveling from one place to the other, you realize that the drivers are always on phone when they are driving. They are listening or fidgeting with a gadget like radio when they are driving. They are not strapped in their seat belt when they are driving. Formerly, they used to drink a lot on the road. Now it is going down, actually.
Now, mentioning seat belts, what is the law, regarding seat belt, the use of seat belt in Ghana?
The use of seat belt is that the law, the regulation is that drivers and passengers should all be strapped in seat belts as the car is in motion. The road traffic regulation stipulates that. But the problem is
hang on a second. Is this backed by legislation? I mean, by law?
That's what I'm saying. The road traffic regulation, LI 2180, stipulates that emphatically.
Okay. So if someone contravenes that law, if Mansa Musa is not wearing a seat belt as a driver or as a passenger, what happens? What's the law? What does the law say?
The law says that either you are fined a punitive measure. I don't have the law ready.
Fair enough. No, it's not a test. It's okay. It is. I just wanted to know if we have them, because this is what happens here. We have those laws here. If you, I think now it's about £15 if you don't wear seat belt as a passenger, and as a driver, it will come some points will be deducted on your license or something like that. Yeah. Anyway,
we have not started deducting points from license. We are considering it in our roundtable discussion, considering the deduction of points from your license. This will come when we are able to, as I said earlier on, deploy fully the cameras that will detect infractions on our roads. We will do those, What it is that you are in prison 3 months, not beyond 3 months to 6 months, or you are fined. That is what the law says. But notwithstanding that, this law came into being 2012. There are vehicles that we use in Ghana, which were not having seat belts. So we were looking at it that those cars will fade out. As they fade out, then but the driver compulsorily has to be strapped in a seat belt. But the new vehicles, the buses, the new ones that are coming, all have seat belts. And when you are aboard such vehicles, the operators themselves remind you, go to VIP, go to OA, go to UM Express, go to all other modern operated transport operators. They will remind you, STC for instance, to strap your seat before the vehicle moves. And that is why National Road Safety now, we have a new mandate to regulate the transport sector, be it under operator or in a union. And the new vehicles that comes, everyone that has seat belts, passengers must be sure to strap it, and then the drivers. But the quarter here is that most of the drivers feel reluctant to strap their seat belt unless they are approaching a barrier, police barrier, before you see them strapping it on. And the moment they leave, they pull it again. Sometimes
it is really strange that for safety reasons someone is found cheating. I mean, it is true that seat belts, they save lives. Seat belts save lives. And so for anyone to think that, oh, maybe Jimina, you leave your seat belt, this attitude will have to, it will take the police enforcement to bring people to heel. Because look, I was sat in a car. I remember, is it Trafalgar Square, somewhere like that. And these police, two police women, they came in and told me off. They said, this time we are not going to find you. But when they spoke to me, they dressed me down. And I had to be quiet. I knew that they were right. Even though that I was driving in a slow-moving traffic, very slow, but they were right. Let alone on a motorway, you take off your the belt. For what reason? For what reason, I don't know. Anyone who wants to call, please, don't call my private number. That's where I'm speaking with Pearl. That number is engaged. It's busy. If you want to call the studio numbers, there are two of them, 0208 123 5911, 07876 251261, and the two of them, you can, then I will pick you up and we can talk. Yes, so don't call my private number. Abolo. Okay, Abolo.
Mansa Musa.
I have to let you go on this phone because I need to take another call.
Okay. Now.
Right. Hello.
Yeah, Mansa Musa.
Good evening, Abby.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I am fine. I'm fine. Very well indeed.
Yeah. I want to ask one or two questions from your guest.
Madam Pearl, I don't know. The gentleman, I don't know, your husband, your brother, but we can hear his voice. So if you can kindly let, some 5 minutes so that we can, otherwise we can hear the voice from behind.
Who is that?
Okay, I heard some male voice, so I thought it's from your place.
Mansa Musa is me.
Okay then, okay. If it's Abby, let's go.
Can she hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Pearl, can you hear the gentleman?
Hello?
Hello, Pearl.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear the gentleman who is speaking now? Can you hear him?
No, I can barely hear him. See.
You can't hear me talking?
I can't hear.
Hello?
I can't hear him well.
Okay, Abe, you start talking. Let's see if it's to be okay. Start talking.
Mansa Musa, yes, I've been listening to your conversation with her. But personally, I'm disappointed because what this lady is saying is she's regurgitating the same problems we know as far as driving is concerned in Ghana. She's just regurgitating everything. I want to know, how, I mean, the sort of evidence they have. How many offenders have they caught, fined, or punished? Maybe on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And the measures, what measures they put in place. And how often do they assess whether their measures are working, they are efficient, they are effective enough? We are fed up with hearing stories. She's describing the same things we know.
Like what?
We want to know. And yes, I mean, drivers should wear seatbelt and all those things. We know all those things.
No, Abe, you got to be very considerate here. Look, we got to be objective.
She's the PRO for the road safety.
We have started talking almost 1 hour, and the safety belt is not the only thing she said. She has explained everything from the beginning.
The part I heard is what...
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, the part I want to know. Please. I want to know how... Yeah.
Abe, I will let you speak. Don't worry, I will let you speak. We started with the statistics that has come via the Ghana police, that Ghana recorded the first quarter about 15% less incident or accident. The figures are here, I'm reading it. And without even reading it, she came and said it before I acknowledged, because I wanted to know if she was going to be genuine. And she said everything without even knowing that I was reading the thing is in front of me. And we've spoken about so many things. She has been very objective to say...
Mansa Musa, 15% over what period?
A quarter, the first quarter compared to last quarter. The first quarter.
Mansa Musa, look, this sort of this whitewashing or these white lies they've been telling us is a trend going up or coming down.
He said it's coming down according to the figures here. That's why I call. Look, Abe, let me. You know me. Look, before I call a professionals or authorities like that, I have something to talk about. I have the what do we call it? The paperwork or something I can argue with. And when she started giving me the figures, she didn't know I had the figures in front of me. Everything she said was accurate. So please. If there is something you want
so Mansa Musa, if you
for you to accuse that, she's just coming to rejudicate, I mean, that is unfair. That's really unfair.
Yes, what I've heard is I've not seen any controls, any measures they have in place to reduce the incidents happening.
Okay. It's because
so describing the same things to us again. We don't want to hear that.
No, Abe, because you didn't listen to the program from the beginning. This woman has spoken a lot.
Mansa Musa, I don't know the beginning today. Just today, there is a very gory accident which has happened about some students.
Exactly. We are talking about all of it. Listen, we started 1 hour ago. For you to say that she hasn't said anything and she's just, saying some... No. She's spoken a lot. And
I don't want to listen to her for talking sake. I want to see what measures, what controls they have in place to address these things, not to come and regurgitate things to us.
Okay, fine. Madam Bell, 1 second. Before, I wouldn't let her to repeat. But first and foremost, this sort of mandatory retraining that we take it for granted here, that if you drive carelessly or something, they have that mandatory training system they've now adopted in Ghana. They send drivers mandatory retraining. A lot of the measures we are seeing here, even speed limits, when she started telling me the speed limits, even though maybe it is not widespread, but when she started talking about the speed limits and everything, it's almost here. And she was brave enough to say that, look, we don't have adequate road signs, those informational boards and electronic, we don't have it. We don't have proper maintenance culture. She has spoken, she has said all those
people. If she's telling us they don't have it, does she want us to go and do those things? That is why we are paying them for. That is why they've got all those titles.
Abe. She is the spokesperson for the authority. It is a fact that government, you know, when Yusuf came, he blamed the government for not doing enough. It's a fact. But for now, what is at stake, they are doing now, what they have done before, and what is happening is what she is telling us. She doesn't do the policy. She doesn't write a transfer.
We don't see the impact of what they are doing on the ground.
Okay, fair enough.
So it is not working. She should go and tell her bosses or those people who claim to be authorities to work. Enough. We are not paying them to come and tell us stories.
Fair enough.
Mansa Musa, can she tell us the number and the rate of reoffending drivers?
We are all passionate about this, but let's be respectful. Don't say stories. It's not nice. Let's be respectful. This woman is not a politician, so that we will be giving them hard stuff.
Mansa Musa, I'm not talking politics.
She's just a civil servant.
Mansa Musa, I'm not talking politics. We are paying them and maintaining them lavishly to solve problems.
My husband is waiting for me to give him his this thing to sleep, so maybe I can go off the phone.
Pearl, you've heard everything. In conclusion, okay, there is another gentleman here. Let him also speak quickly, then I will let you conclude and you go. Because you spend almost 1 hour and some minutes, which is a lot. First, I thought we were going to talk for 10 minutes, I remember. So, let me ask this caller to what he wants to speak. Then you speak about Abe's concern, then we can let you go as quickly as we can. Let me connect the microphone. 0048, hello. 0048, hello.
Yes, hello, Mansa Musa.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for putting me through. It is a question or contribution, I don't know, but it is not going to the woman. It's going to not going to the lady. It's for the IGP. Mansa Musa, for the past 1 hour or so, you'll be talking about or discussing issues to do with rules in discipline. But my issue is that the IGP is aware of the MTTU and the police in discipline on our roads. When they are detailed to the various checkpoints, the indiscipline that they display over there, the manner they recklessly extort money on the broad daylight from truck taxi drivers and others. If they don't stop, the indiscipline on the road will never stop because they are the cause. Sometimes you will see these policemen chasing drivers recklessly just to arrest them and extort money from them.
Okay. Listen, she doesn't.
So the IGP should take note of that.
But if they are not, she doesn't speak for the police. All right. So
yes. If their members are not disciplined, it will always impress on the drivers to continue to be in discipline because they are aware that if I'm arrested and I'm part of some money, I'll be left off the hook, and they will continue doing that.
Ghana Road Transport or the Road Safety Authority, right? Their efforts. Have you been listening for the past 1 hour?
I have been listening.
Okay.
But so we've been observing, we've been seeing it on the road.
We have a problem with all what you are saying is true. We have the problem with the police. I even asked her about, the police authorities or the law enforcement and everything. Look, she doesn't speak for the police, but she speaks for safety on the road.
That's why I said my contribution is not for the lady, but it's for IGP.
Okay.
That's what I said.
I will surely, I think she will take the message away, but I will surely have to arrange to get these they are always dodging, running away from Mansa Musa, the police PRO. I've been chasing them. The last time Madam Efiatenge spoke to me was to tell me, oh, Mansa Musa, I have left. Oh, when she resigned, that one she spoke to. Otherwise, anytime I called, she wouldn't take. Anyway, Pearl, can you give us your last listen? What I want to do for the last discussion is that the other time I interviewed a person from DVLA, I think the boss, I've forgotten his name. I have a small test. Will you agree to do this test?
Hello.
Hello, Pearl.
Are you asking me for a test?
Yes, I'm asking you. I have some small test. As a driver, I have a small text. If I can, if you don't want it, you can tell me. But any official that I speak to, if it's about driving, if it's about security, whatever, I usually have some small funny test. Can I test you a little bit?
Mansa Musa, he is a public officer. Don't traffic.
I can't hear you. Sorry, Pearl.
Is somebody on the line?
No. I'm listening to you now. Hello, Pearl.
Yeah, I'm not here. Your line is breaking.
Okay, let me get it right. I understand. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I have some small tests. Do you want to indulge with me? I mean, indulge me.
Bring it and let me see. If I'm not able, I'll say I will not be able. If I will,
I like your enthusiasm, your bright, your truthfulness and straightforwardness. You said you drive. I mean, you know how to drive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you sit in your car, after all the checks, brakes and everything, now you are sitting behind the steering wheel. Let's suggest that you have now put on your safety belt. What are the 3 safety procedures or protocols that you have to observe before you move?
Adjust my seat. The 3 I know is adjusting my seat so that I can be able to look at my mirrors, left and right and rear mirrors, and see that I can see the road very well and see my side and side. But you've already said about the adjustment of the seat belt.
Yeah.
So after that, I'll make sure that my windscreen is also clear after checking my tire.
Okay. You are almost there, but you see, this is not a test to undermine anybody. It's safety. The other time I tell you, DVLA boss, he didn't get it. But it is safety. So I will tell you a simple thing. The first thing is, when you are sat down, you have checked all the checks, adjust your seat, everything. We have something we call mirror signal maneuver. Mirror signal maneuver. You understand it, don't you? So what is the mirror? You make sure you watch your mirror. You make sure you signal before maneuver means to take off. So these 3 things, if we observe it, in fact, when I passed my test here, I really knew that, yes, this is all about the safety. If we are able to observe this, even on the highway, on the motorway, a lot of accidents will be prevented. Mirror, take it away, write it down, tell everybody. Mirror signal maneuver.
Mansa Musa, it is in their road and safety book.
I know it is there, but they don't know. I know it is there. Look, DVLA boss, 2 years ago, I interviewed. 2 years ago, I interviewed DVLA, their boss, big boss. He was laughing. He said, look, thanks for reminding me. But this is the main safety protocol before you move your vehicle, before you overtake, before you reverse, before everything. Mirror signal maneuver. Girl, baby, listen. You are a bright woman. You must go far in your profession. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hopefully it won't be the last. Have a good evening.
All right.
Good
evening. Good evening. Bye.
Right. So, right now I'm here in London with Mr. What's the names? Abe and the other guy from far away. Is it Scotland or somewhere? His name is Ambrose. Gentlemen, are you still there?
Yeah, Mansa Musa, I'm with you here.
And Abe too is here.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Abe,
Mansa Musa,
Abe,
Mansa Musa, look, when the
Abe, let's liven up a bit. I spoke to Mr. Wanche.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, when these people, hold on, when these people we are paying and maintaining lavishly come here to talk, we need to tell them that we want them to be responsible and accountable. Do you understand? Embellishing them and respecting them unreasonably is not helping us. Do you understand? We contribute to their non-performance. Because we are talking about...
Abe, you see, your only problem I have with you is that... You see, the main problem I have with you, Abe, is that you didn't listen from the beginning. So what you heard was limited, very limited. This woman... hang on. I am surprised that in the beginning, she was bold to tell what is there as the truth and what is lacking. She even mentioned maintenance, that look, that culture is still not there. That road maintenance, the vehicle maintenance, the parts on the road, the markings, everything. And I was surprised she even mentioned the speed limit.
We know all of what she was saying. What controls, what measures are they putting in place to make people do maintenance?
Listen, you didn't listen from the beginning. She explained everything that, look, sometimes...
name two of the measures they are doing for people to maintain.
The enforcement does not sometimes happen as envisaged or as required, but the rules and the laws and this and that, they are there. Look, they have started even some retraining of drivers here and there. They are instilling new discipline. She said into the drivers. Most of the drinking now is gone, so a little bit here and there. But the figures prove.
Mansa Musa, who are those instilling the discipline?
Instilling that discipline. How?
You say?
Who are those? Officers instilling discipline into the driver.
Look, gentlemen, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do?
They are themselves in discipline. How can they discipline someone?
What I'll do is, I will advise you when we finish, watch the video, the WhatsApp or YouTube. From the beginning, we have spoken a lot. So if you had listened from the beginning, then you could have picked your questions properly. But when you come in and pretend, as if she has just come to...
If she told you all what you are telling us...
I don't remember all. They are there. These are on records.
How they are implementing and enforcing that discipline. Name two measures they have in place to do that.
Well, like I said, they have now started with this mandatory retraining. They have now started with this, retraining of drivers who are driving HGVs and passenger buses and the rest in their local languages for them to understand. These are measures that didn't exist before. So now they have taken the training the training of drivers very, very serious. Obviously, as for the roads markings and the the bad roads, they are still happening. That is more of political than she can say, but she said a lot that I'm even surprised she said it. So for us to come and jump on her as if that she's lying, I was surprised. Look, I have a chart here. I have a report of some figures. When this woman started mentioning the figures, I was surprised because I didn't know she had it. And she didn't know I have it. If she had lied, I would have said that, but these figures show this and this and that and that. She said everything that, look, it has come down slightly, but not much. Anyway, listen, guys, listen, it's now 9:53, 7 minutes to 10. I tell you what, today is Monday. Let's start the week a bit softly, okay? And then
Mansa Musa, look, well, the reason why I called you,
No, Abe, before we go, let me ask you this. Look, I started talking to, I don't know whether you heard it, Mr. Tete Chai. about this.
Yeah, when I saw it, it was too late. That was why I started listening to it.
You see, the reason I called him is what me and you were having the banter on WhatsApp, and that is the lands that are being shared left, right, and center. The other tribes will come in and share the land, use executive powers. Not that they even buy. So those buying from the Ghana chiefs, for them is the chief's problem. But this executive that, cantonment area, they share it. The trade fair, they knock it down. They gave some flimsy excuses that some people are coming from South Africa. In the end, apparently they are sharing it. Look, La Hospital has been knocked down. It's now a wasteland. So that's what I call Tete Chai. You being an indigenous or a person of a Ga, tribe, you have a stake in this. You have interest in this. How do you think this should be stopped?
Mansa Musa, look, we are all aware. If I say we girls are aware of the abuse and misuse of our lands by so-called government instruments. Yeah? Look, Mansa, are you hearing me?
Everybody is listening to you.
Yes.
Ambrose, are you there?
The gun.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, I'm with you. But
okay. Go ahead.
You are not allowing us to talk, so I'm quiet. I'm just listening.
No, you people were trying to buy the woman's head off. I wouldn't allow
No. We are just trying to contribute, criticize constructively. If we make any criticism, it's not meant for the woman. It's meant for the consumption of the public.
No, well, it's in a way it's.
Because I was just concentrating on the law enforcement agency.
You see, it came out as though you were trying to say she was telling lies, which is not good, which is not nice.
Who said that?
That's how it came out. That's how it came out. That's how I felt. That it looked as if you are attacking her, that she was telling lies.
No, are you referring to me or Mr. Abe?
I am referring to both of you. You were attacking the woman.
No. You did not listen to my statement. I started making a statement that my question or what the input is going to the IGP. That's what I said. You did not listen.
Okay, Ambrose, let's Abe finish with this Ghana lands.
All right. Abe, carry on.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so Mansa Musa, as I was saying, we as Ghanaians are aware of the abuse, stealing of our lands by so-called government instruments. Okay? We are working behind the scenes. And I think when we wake up, if I say when we Ghanaians wake up, that thing called Ghana will be something else. You understand? We are aware. I mean, most of these successive governments have just been taking our land. Our parents died, tried to protect some of these lands. But some group of people hiding under government or whatever nonsense just come and take our land. But by the day we woke up, everybody will see. You understand? And it may happen soon. From the past, 40, 50 years, people just come and take Ghana land. They just, and they say, this is government instrument, this is this. They don't use it for the purpose for which the lands were taken. Then they share it or sell it among themselves. Mansa Musa, we are aware of all of this. Do you understand? And most of them, they are not better than some of us. Most of these people calling themselves government politicians, these people, but we will see. Do you understand? We will see. Yes, we will see. When we look up, everybody will say, hey, guys are this. We don't care. Because we've been silent enough. We've been silent enough. I'm done.
So, Mansa Musa, can I come in now?
We are aware of all of these things.
Really, it's not fair, innit? I mean, look, Sir John, now he is resting in his hometown. But the land, I know, look, let's be fair. Every government in the past, some people dubiously have taken lands here and there. But now, the volume at which people are, they are rushing and just amassing these properties, lands in Accra. This is not good, though, Ambrose.
They are stealing our land. They are stealing our land.
Can I speak?
Yeah, let Ambrose come in. Let's hear what we say. Ambrose.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, we know what? In Ghana, Accra lands are too complicated. Okay? We have zoo lands, we have private lands, we have individual lands, then we have government lands. So which lands are you referring to now? Is it government lands or zoo lands? You can't blame only the... I am fully aware...
Abe, let him finish, please.
Oh, I am fully aware that land grabbing has been with that since the Fourth Republic, okay? But the rate at which is being expropriated now is the problem now. But my issue is that these things are being perpetrated by the government in connivance with the chiefs, some of the chiefs, not all the chiefs, in connivance with some of the chiefs. If you go to Accra, if you go to any court, any issue to do with land litigation, it emanates from these various chiefs. Multiple sales of lands, where does it come from? Mansa Musa, if we want to tackle issues to do with land and related issues, the built environment, we should not only deal with the politicians and leave the chiefs alone. They are part of the problem.
Yeah, but
they are part. Sometimes, Mansa Musa, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
When government use the power of eminent domain, normally we refer to as compulsory acquisition, to acquire land from the chiefs.
Yeah.
And they intend to use it for a purpose for which, if they are not able to use it for a specific purpose, the land, at a point in time, the land must revert to the allodia owner, yes, which is the chiefs.
Yes.
But you know what? These same chiefs will go to these politicians, connive with them, go to court, and ask the government to part with some land for the chiefs. And the chief will take shares, and the politicians will take a large chunk of it. That's what happened to Sir John's issue. That's what happened. Go through that issue and you will know what happened. The chiefs were part of the land. They took part of the land to the detriment of their subjects. So when you are condemning, don't only condemn the politicians, though they are fronting for it, but we should also condemn the chiefs. They are part and parcel of this problem. So that's why I always suggest that it is time that we ensure, as a country, we make sure that our laws are enforced. If our laws are enforced, I will recommend that the state should acquire all the land in the country, like what we have in UK, so that the state will control all the land to avoid all this litigation, all this misuse of land. So if a state officer or a staff of the state misappropriate a land or decided to grab a land, the law must deal with such a person. But because we don't enforce our laws, we are aware of a number of politicians who are grabbing various state lands. What happens to them? During the past previous administration, we witnessed it, and we are witnessing it gravely this time. So what happened to those who grabbed such lands? For first time, they grabbed a large tract of land in Kumasi and Accra. NDC time to same. And now it is going on. And nothing happened to them. It is our laws doesn't work.
Okay, the conversation here, let's limit it to, you see, that's why I said in my own monologue, I said if, the chiefs or the kings are doing, things with their own land here and there, is their problem. The problem is they and their people. But my main concern, what I want us to discuss is that the executive powers that people are using anytime someone is in power, as I hear, the cantonment side, it is going like, land is now some meter for 1 million, I don't know. I'm exaggerating a bit, but they are grabbing, this is not about the chiefs. Then we have something like trade fair site is broken down quietly, and they say some private investors bet on the ground. They are sharing it among themselves. This has nothing to do with the chiefs. And for the chiefs and their own shenanigans, a different thing. I want us to discuss the government.
That's why I am referring to state lands, and I'm telling you from a fact.
Yes.
The chief are part of the cabal. I'm telling the truth. The chief are part. The state cannot do it alone. I'm telling you the fact.
What I'm hearing,
why the chief quiet?
What is happening in Labadi and the trade fair? And the chiefs have nothing to do with it.
When you say state,
I know that's when the chiefs have nothing to do with it. No, that's why I want to limit the conversation. Please do understand me. Forget about the chiefs. People are using executive power.
You can't, Mansa Musa, you cannot talk about Ghana lands without talking about the chiefs. You cannot do that.
Well,
the land, the state acquired the land compulsorily from the chiefs. And if they are not using for a specific purpose, the land should revert back to the chiefs, to the Alodia owners. So what are they doing about it?
How many of these lands have been returned to the chiefs so far that you
Just
know?
recently, Mansa Musa, I will look for the case. Just recently, they returned the various lands to the chiefs. And what we realized was that the government apparatus had a chunk of the land, and few were returned to the chiefs.
Okay, so fine. That is what we want to happen. That is good. Whatever the chiefs do with it is another problem, and it is different to discuss. That will be between the chiefs and their people. But what I want us to discuss is mainly a place like Cantonment is so prime, so expensive, and politicians are selling it to themselves.
Because the laws of the country doesn't work.
Okay, but that is not part of the chief's problem. You see, the point is, if they are not going to use it to build a stadium, or they are not going to use it, I'll let you come in.
The law is explicit. If the state acquires a land through compulsory acquisition, and it is not used for a specific purpose, the owners have the right to go to court to retrieve the land from the state.
You see,
you can't acquire the land compulsory for a specific purpose and you divert to do another thing. No, the laws are there.
Ambrose, what I'm driving at, maybe you don't understand me, is that look.
I do understand what you are saying.
When a party comes to power, to office, for instance, there are government lands in, let's say, Kumasi or in Ashanti, but you hardly hear that even a minister or somebody belonging to the party in power who is a Gan has acquired for himself a prime place in Ashanti or in Kumasi. You hardly hear that. But in Accra, it just happened. You see, that's the difference. Forget about
Mansa Musa, it's because you don't understand the issues in land. That's why I'm saying that. If you go to Kumasi, all the lands in Kumasi are under the stool. Okay? But when you go to Accra, we have stool lands, we have family lands, we have private lands, and we have government lands. It's different from Kumasi. It's different from Ashanti. So the two are not the same.
I totally agree with you. That's why
the two are not the same.
You see, I totally agree with you. That's why the Gans are losing their lands. And that is not fair.
My friend,
and they have to fight for their rights, because if you are chief and the government took land from your forefathers, at a point in time they failed to develop the land. What should you do?
Let Abe.
Mansa Musa, tell the guy that there's nothing like private lands in Accra. All the lands belong to a stool or a clan in Accra. It is
Mansa Musa, inform me, Abe, that you know what he's talking about. We have private lands in Accra, if you don't know.
Name some of the places where there are private lands.
You are not aware, you are ignorant, that's why you are saying so. I'm not going to teach you here, but after this, go and do your research, and you will come back to Mansa Musa's program and tell that what I stated is the right thing. You have private lands, you have family lands, we have stool lands, you have government lands in Accra. That is what is causing the problem, all this litigation in Accra, if you are not aware.
Name any place in Accra, and I'll tell you which clan it belongs to. Tell me. Name any place in Accra. You people walk in and come and think what you say what you think.
Mr. Abe, you are displaying your ignorance. You don't know. Mr. Abe, you are displaying your ignorance. You don't know the issues to do with land in Accra. You don't know. You are ignorant about it.
So tell me any place in Accra where you think is a private land. Tell me.
If you want me to tell you, come to my classroom, I will teach you. Not on this radio. Because you don't know. If you don't know anything, you don't argue about it. Don't display your ignorance, please.
You are rather telling me ignorant. If you are not ignorant, why don't you say it? This is public place. Why don't you say it? I should come to your classroom. Nonsense. How well do you know Accra? When did you come to Accra? When did you come to Accra?
But, Mr. Abe, do I have to live in Accra to know issues about Accra lands? Is that what you are trying to say?
Where did you come to Accra? Where did you come to Accra? Tell me.
Let me inform you. That is the area of my expertise, okay? So if you are ignorant, don't display it on this platform.
What about this?
Is that right?
Where did you come to Accra? What sort of expertise are you talking about? Where do you know in Accra?
You are ignorant, so I'm not going to debate with you because you don't know issues that involve in Accra land. So there's no point to discuss with you.
Of course, you don't know. You do not know. There is no private land in Accra. Private land. You are joking.
You are ignorant. Mansa Musa, don't entertain Mr. Abe on this program. He is ignorant. You discredit your radio station. He is ignorant and he is displaying it on your radio.
I think we got to show respect and conduct to each and
so
every
don't allow Abe to display his ignorance here.
If we don't agree with each other, I think it is fair, only fair to say I don't agree with you. But adults like both of you, I know you guys are all over 50, and you are all educated. And when you speak like this, it's worrying. Anyway,
this is not a matter of being educated. It's a matter of someone displaying his ignorance. Let me point it out to him.
I don't know which tribe or which region he comes from in Ghana. But can he tell us that the tribe or the region he comes from, they have private lands there? Can he tell us?
I'm from Cote d'Ivoire.
Nonsense.
Gentlemen, okay, listen.
You see how stupid you can be? You see how stupid you can be?
Let's.
You see how stupid you can be?
Today is just Monday. Let's end it nicely. Listen.
Stupid guy. Mansa Musa is how stupid.
Mansa Musa, allow him to speak. Allow him to speak and for him to display his ignorance.
Nonsense. You are from Cote d'Ivoire and coming to tell me what you don't know.
You have no idea about land issues in Accra and you are just making noise over there.
How long have you lived in Accra? When did you come to Accra?
You see, you still continue displaying your ignorance. So does it call for someone to live in Accra to know Accra land? Even those who live in Accra, they don't even know the nitty-gritties in Accra land. What goes into Accra land? Most of the people who are from Accra, they don't even know. So don't start on that premise at all.
You think I'm one of them?
You are. You've displayed your influence here. You've displayed it here now. So you are one of them.
Nonsense. Go to that your tribe. Your name sounds like a North now or whatever.
Funny man.
The Northern region you come from, do they have private lands there? Do they have private lands there?
Okay. Ask him to do a research and you will know. I'm not going to teach him. There's not a platform for me to teach him or issues to do with lands in Accra.
You cannot teach me anything. You cannot teach me anything.
I can sit you in my class and teach you. Abe, you don't know. So I can teach you. So that you will not continue to display your ignorance.
NFM Radio.
You don't know anything. You do not know anything.
NFM Radio.
So now that it's a bit quiet, Abe, how?
Allow him to display his ignorance, or we are listening to him.
Listen. I'm running this show. Abe, how do we finally? How do we resolve this? I mean, is it all politics, or you think? How do we go about it? Because for me, I will tell you the truth that the way it's happening now, if any other government should come and do same, it will be like you say, one day things will erupt and there will be problems. Abe.
Mansa Musa, look, when it comes to Accra lands,
NFM Radio,
we Ghana people should not rely on any government, because no government will address this issue for us. We have to address these issues in our own way. Do you understand? And we are working behind the scenes to address it. And I think the consequence, if it works out, every Ghanaian will hear it. Do you understand? The consequence. Those people talking rubbish will all hear it. Do you understand? When we wake up and take Accra, everybody will hear it. They can steal the land as much as they can, but the land belongs to us.
I think that is clear enough.
The land belongs to us. We cannot go to Ashanti region as a guy. I cannot go to Ashanti region. I can lease the land or do whatever, but it's not mine.
You see, like we say,
it's not mine. And we are aware of all the machinations these people have been doing. They try to play the chiefs. They try. This particular guy who is talking rubbish, he himself said we should blame the chiefs. So if there are private lands in Accra, where does the chiefs come in? You see how stupid he can reason? If all the lands belongs to private lands, where the chiefs come in? Then the chiefs don't have any right over it.
Mansa Musa, you see, Abe was not even listening. You see, that's why I said he is displaying his ignorance. When I was explaining, he did not even listen. The types of lands that we have in Accra, he did not listen. And I compared it to Kumasi, and I stated that in Kumasi, we have there's 2 lands there. That is being, what do you call it? The Otumfo holding trust for the people in Ashanti region. That is why if you go to Ashanti region, it is more organized than what we have in Accra, because you have different types of land in Accra. He's not even aware of all this, so he's just making noise over there.
I think, you see, the difference between the Accra or Ghana,
you are rather ignorant.
Abe, let me also talk small. Let me come in small so that I cool the tension a bit. I beg you, please. Abe and Ambrose, let me talk small. See, the reason, I'm giving my reason, I may be wrong. The reason, the difference between Accra and Kumasi, Greater Accra region and Ashanti is that when after Nkrumah, all the state lands were given back to the stool or the kings or the queens or the chiefs. In Accra, the state lands, instead of going back to the chiefs, politicians took over, mostly. That started gradually in a small way, then it became bigger, now it is rampant. That is the difference. The chiefs in Accra, either through maybe their own manipulation or their own sort of ill sort of reasons.
No. Mansa Musa, let me
finish my monologue. I'll let you speak. You see that when you speak, I don't come in. If I'm wrong, let me finish, then you tell me. All what I'm saying is that, you see, I just like the chiefs or the kings in Ashanti had possession of all the lands. In Accra, the chiefs and the kings didn't have the possession. The politicians took over, which was wrong. And that's why I said that even if someone is in power, it is very difficult for him to go to Kumasi or Ashanti to claim land for himself. It's rather easier for a politician to claim land in Accra, because either they will manipulate the chiefs here or they will just take it by executive power. That is the difference. That's what I think is happening. But Abe, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, yeah, you were right. What these so-called politicians do is they play the chiefs. They manipulate the chiefs. And then they more or less take some of the land. You know, at the moment, we have about 2 or 3 chiefs in Accra. Do you understand?
Which shouldn't be the case.
Almost every... Pardon?
I said, which shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't have been like that, you know?
This shouldn't be the case because almost every political power which comes will associate him or herself with one particular group of chiefs.
Yes.
And that particular chief will more or less become like the authority. Then when the person leaves, the other one will also go associate with another.
Exactly.
So they create these divisions just to take the land. Do you understand? But let this guy on the thing know that every land in Accra belongs to a clan. Every land. Unfortunately, because most people don't know the composition of Accra, they think when they say Accra belongs to. Look, we have so many divisions. People from Osu, Labadi, Nungwa, different. I mean, they all have different. The land belongs to all of them, but different areas. But when you mention Accra, they think, I mean, those of us from, let's say, Arsenal or something, it's only Accra. No. That is why I'm telling this guy that the land, that we don't have any private land.
On this particular point, I think Abe is right because there's no private land. The land should belong to the stool. First, it was government.
You're also joining Abe. Am I right?
You say, I think Abe is right. You say there's no private
You are
land.
joining Abe.
I'm not joining. I think I'm seeing.
Abe doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Don't follow him.
All right, fair enough. The private lands in Accra. How did it? Unless somebody buy a land, the lands either belong to government or the stool. So which private lands are we talking about again? That's why, I mean, that's the argument.
Mansa Musa, Mama Show. In lands that we have in Accra, okay, we have stool or customary lands.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Then we have government or state lands.
Yes.
We have vested lands.
Yes.
We have family lands.
Yes.
Then finally, we have private lands in Accra.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
You see, then you can say the same thing in Kumasi. So you can buy a land, it becomes private. But we are talking about the entirety of the distribution of lands. Lands belong to either the kingship, the kings, or the stool. Then government acquires it. In between, if you are Mansa Musa buys a land, my house, my land, it's my land. It's private. But we are talking about entirety of lands. That is a different thing, I think, different understanding, I mean, listen, let's not dance about the movie.
Mansa Musa, if you go and buy land at Kumasi or anywhere in Ashanti region, no matter how you develop it, the land belongs to Ashanti region. No matter how you develop it, it's your private property and so, but it is still the jurisdiction of Ashanti region. Is this simple thing? What simple logic is this? What this guy is not understanding, or he's talking about the various divisions? Of course, Ashanti is the Alodia order. The same thing if it applies to Accra lands.
Yes, Ambrose.
Yes, Mansa Musa.
You have the right to respond or reply.
How do I argue with him on this? There's no point to argue with him on this.
Please. Now Tempest has come down. Let's be civil. Let's be civil to each other. That's all. Tempest no bad. Yeah, you need to make a camp, but for now, no, let's calm down. Let me go to Kwesi. Kwesi have phone. Oh, sorry. Abe, wait for me. Kwesi has phone. Let me ask him. Hello, Kwesi. What do you want to say?
Mansa Musa, good evening to Ambrose, Dr. Ambrose.
Yeah.
Good evening to you, your listeners. I think I agree that
Ambrose is here and Abe too is here.
Well, hello, Abi. My greetings to you. You see, Mansa Musa, this evening, you've been having a lot of education program, which is good. But sometimes, like you are saying, they should cut out the insult bit. The nonsense and this thing, they should cut it out, please. Mansa Musa, let me say a bit about the education aspect that Ambrose is trying to put across, and it's becoming a bit of issue here. You see, Mansa Musa, we have public land. Those public lands are vested in the government. Even if it is in Kumasi or Accra, they are vested in the government, like Dr. Ambrose was saying. You see, so when you are dealing with public lands and the government don't have the use for the lands again, they have to reverse the land back to the owners. Those are the chiefs.
Yes.
So the government don't have rights to sell those lands.
Yes.
Now, let me give you one scenario, and I bet you listen carefully. Let me give you one scenario. If you go to Ghana Civil Aviation, if you go to Adenta, they have a huge land which was acquired by the government for civil aviation operation. And that land within Adenta, I think it's under the enclave of either Labadi people or the Ga people, but they have the chiefs there. So the land is in the hands of Ghana Civil Aviation for their aviation equipment. But because of technology now, the land has become useless now because now they are using technology, and now most of the operation is based at the airports. That Adenta land is huge and it's no more needed. So all what the government has to do is to call the chiefs and invest the land back to them. But what are we seeing? But like you said, because of the political shenanigans, some chiefs and some politicians are now trying to share the land in a way. So you see, the situation we have in our hands here, it has got to do with lands and the laws of the country. So normally, if the government don't need the public lands again, Mansa Musa, he has to call the chiefs and reverse the bank land to them. But for now, the difficulty now is that, you see, the laws in the system are not working properly. We have a land commission. And the land commission, as it's operated, Mansa Musa, we have chiefs on board the land commission, lots of chiefs. So that when they come to land litigation, where they have to be maybe lawyers or police or this thing, then they sit down and they resolve the matter. Because look, the lands, no government has a land. Lands belongs to the people. So like Abe is saying, if the land in Accra is under the custodian of the Gap people, they have so many clans in like this, but still they're under the chiefs. But if government acquires it and it has no use again, you need to sit down and reverse it back to the people. But now, there's a whole lot of, so like Dr. Ambrose is saying, see, there's a whole lot of system we need to understand. Why are we here? The land tenure system has been mismanaged, Mansa Musa, and it's creating a whole lot of confusion among the chiefs and the politicians. And the chiefs, they are part of the huge problems you are having, Mansa Musa. The chiefs themselves, they are divided, and they are now beating themselves and sharing the land among themselves. They sell one land to 3, 4, 5 people. They go to government, they say, we want them. That's why the government is feeling reluctant to hand over there.
You see, I think we are all saying the same thing, but we just going around in circles. Look, one example I've heard is that the trade fair site land is being shared among some politicians. Labadi chief does not have any say in that. You see, so I want us to situate the discussion on the fact that when the land becomes unusable, the government does not want to use it again, it should go back to the original owner, which is the chiefs. If the chiefs are manipulating the land, that's a different topic. All what I'm interested in is to stop politicians selling the lands to themselves, using it.
Mansa Musa, unfortunately,
the people in land have to go to court and fight their case.
Unfortunately, the trade fair one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the trade fair one, the trade fair site one has become a very political issue because the role it was playing. The trade fair one, the Labadi hospital one, and so on.
Yes.
But Mansa Musa, this is how these politicians have operated.
Yes.
For a very long time.
Time immemorial.
Look.
Yeah.
Look, yes, look, the lands at Soto.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm doing something. Let me check my technical stuff. Ambrose, are you there? Ambrose, are you there? You see, Ambrose is talking, but we can't hear. But he's supposed to have. Let me see. Ambrose should be talking for us to hear, but we can't hear him.
Mr. What stops Labadi chiefs to go from going to court on this trade fair side issue? What stops them?
Look, it is much difficult. Abe, go ahead. Sorry.
Mr. Let me add something. What stops the Labadi chiefs to take a legal action on this matter? Because you see, before the land was released, which was vested in the public, and for that matter, in the name of the president, if the reason why the land was released by the people, indigenous, to the state, and it's not being used for, they have to go back to the people. So what is preventing the Labadi people to take a legal action on the trade fair?
That's Abe.
Mansa Musa, you see, for a very long time now, the people within the Ga Adangbe regions, why our lands have been stolen and misused and abused is that we've not been organized. Politicians divide us so that they can steal our lands. We are aware of all of this. Now we are trying to reorganize. You are aware of the Ghana Dangbe Council, and I think probably by the time we become organized, people will start saying, oh, Ghans are becoming tribalistic and so on. Somebody like me, when it reaches that point, I don't care. Because we've been tolerant enough. We've been quiet enough. We cannot go to Achim and go and take their land. We cannot go to Kumasi and go and take their land. We cannot go to the northern region and go and take their land. So we have to protect our lands. But gradually we will get there. You understand? Because these people have hidden and have stupid government instruments and taking Mansa Musa, look, Southwood land, Southwood. The government, so-called government or whatever, I don't know under whose regime they did that, took a large parcel of land. They said they were going to use it for race course. Go there and see whether you see any race course there. Southwood. Do you understand? I know that because that land belongs to my parents.
I totally, maybe I'm biased because my ex-wife is a Ghana, but I'm totally in agreement with you that ever since Nkrumah came to the scene and he wanted the whole of the Ghana territory to develop the country, it made sense for the land to belong to government. Now, after all these years and the lands, some of them...
Yeah, Mansa Musa, I don't have a problem if the state is acquiring the land for everybody to benefit. Do you understand? Look, where my land is, my house is in Accra. The last time I went there, you know, Nkrumah opened a tomato factory.
Yeah, where was it?
I put somewhere around Tuba.
Okay.
Look, Mansa Musa, I saw somebody has tried to revamp the thing, and I saw the amount of tomato they harvested.
Okay.
I was so impressed. That and all those places used to be farmlands. Now they are not farmlands anymore. People have encroached on the land and built houses there. You understand?
No, Kwesi, nobody can hear you yet. Because you are my Ambrose.
Yeah, Mansa Musa be kasa wase won't me kan.
There be said me mbo wudi na okasa e kwa because me mfa microphone. Afa na me dey microphone na ma. Ye nyina ye di nkomo e bi. You have to sympathize with, should I put it this way, the Gans, because they are being shortchanged. Forget about the chiefs. But officially, the way politicians are grabbing Accra lands using executive powers, they will sell it to themselves, before they leave power, or maybe even they are still in power. That is what we are discussing. I think this one there, you will sympathize with the Ghana people, won't you, Ambrose?
This is not a matter of sympathy, Mansa Musa. What I would say is, you can't state lands are government, acquired from various traditional chiefs and others. It's not only in Accra and its environs. If you go to North, large chunk of land belong to the state. Now, the state is held in trust for the people. Okay, but because the values of land in Accra and its environs are high, when you have possession of one tract of land or one piece of land, you can sell it at a higher. That's why the politicians are gearing all their effort in grabbing lands in Accra. But what I was trying to say is, if I don't have the time now, like I will give you court cases, decided cases, and you will realize that the chiefs are part of all these land issues that we are having in Accra. Some of the chiefs, not all the chiefs, don't take me, not all the chiefs, some of the chiefs are condoned and conniving with the government. Okay? Let me give you an example. The issue that popped up about Sir John's issue, when we realized that he has grabbed some lands in the forest or whatever. Okay? Some of the chiefs are part of the clique.
I wouldn't argue at all with you. I'm not going to argue at all. Listen, the point is, look, okay. I totally agree with you that maybe there's some chiefs disgruntled and they are actually not helping their own, say, citizens or the indigenous people. But that is the question I'm throwing to you, that in general, say, the Ghans, they are being shortchanged when it comes to this land. Is that not? I mean, do you share the same sentiments? That look, somehow
the sentiment that I will share is not just for the people of Ghana. It's for the country, because the politicians are grabbing lands, they are stealing our lands without recourse to the law. And nothing is happening to them.
Like Untumi going to mine in some reserve, and now he's walking free.
No, let's restrict ourselves to Accra.
Oh, come on.
As I speak, the government, as I speak.
The one say, oh, we shouldn't concentrate on the sentiment to only Accra, but the whole Ghana. And I mean, my example say, just like somebody like Moon to me, I'm supporting your point. Now you say now we should stay in Accra.
No, I just want us to concentrate in Accra.
Then why because say that you don't only...
Because land values in Accra, is, in the real sense, land values always appreciate. But because Accra is the city, is the capital, and because of the central business district and its environs, everybody wants to build in Accra. All the companies, all the major
offices want to build in Accra. Sentiments. So that's what I'm saying. You share their sentiments that they are being shortchanged, isn't it?
We should find a way to prevent politicians from land grabbing. I support that issue perfectly. But what I'm trying to say is, some of the chief connive of these politicians to do that. Because one, a politician can decide to steal a large parcel of land, using the chief. They will ask the chief to go to court that the government took this land for our forefathers this number of years ago, and the government is not using the parcel of land for the specific purpose. So they are appealing to the court to revert the land back to them. And the politician will connive with them, revert the land back to them, and they will take a large chunk of the land and give a small piece to the chiefs. And they are happy. That is what is happening in Accra now.
I will go quickly to Kwesi.
And we must condemn all this.
From Kwesi, we'll go to Abe, then we'll bring the show to an end. Listen, Mr. Ambrose, thank you very much indeed. You've made your point. That's, just as straightforward as we can. Kwesi?
Mansa Musa. Thank you so much.
Kwesi, do you also share the sentiments for Accra people that due to the accident of geography, that their place is the capital, everybody rushing into it, the indigenous people, let's forget about it, the indigenous people are being shortchanged, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Musa, I agree with you on that. You see, the problem we are having here, it is about the chiefs in Accra. They have to come together. You see, because they are stew. So Accra, the whole of Accra's plain can be a stew land for the Accra people, the indigenous people. And among them, there are division within them, Mansa Musa. So if the government has acquired huge sums of their land, huge plots of their land for development for the states, you see, it is up to them to sit down and talk to the government that, look, we need to be compensated so that that money, those two chiefs can go to other two lands which is not acquired by the government. You see, apart from the public lands, we still have two lands under them. They are still selling. Musa, you see, the chiefs in Accra, they don't have galamsey to do. All what they do is to their lands. All what they do is to sell, give their lands to their people. According to, you see, statistics, the land that we all came to meet, they should preserve it for their children. But for now, Musa, they are selling it. So if government has taken a chunk of the land for development, for the citizen of Ghana, it includes Accra people. But those lands which is still in their custody, those two lands, you see, they are still selling those lands. So they have to come. So before I land, Mansa Musa, let me say this thing briefly. You see, whatever is happening on the lands matter, like Dr. Ambrose is saying, there are laws on all the lands. You see, if you need somebody give you a land, they have you here, they'll tell you, have the land for 99 years or 80 years. After 80 years, they'll come and ask for certain things. But if the government acquires it as a public lands, that is where government will say that, look, I want to use it to develop the country. That one, they still don't have much to say. You see, but if the government don't want the public lands to be used for the purpose acquired, like aviation purposes, the chiefs have to go for it and go and make their case out. If they are not listening, they should drag the matter to court.
Yeah.
Simplicity.
All right. Okay.
Thank you so much. This is a very technical area of issue. That Ambo said, you see, we need to discuss more about this land and bring people. I think Ambo has a bit of skills in those areas, so that we can learn more and discuss more about this land litigation by the chiefs and the politicians. You know, it's
right. I'll go to Abe before I come to you. See, the point here, my take on this is that when the Osajifo took the whole Ghana and decided to develop, especially Accra areas, and he said to the Tema fishermen, look, I'm coming to build a port, and I'm building a township, a new dwelling for people to work at the port. So kindly shift to another side. Build them, rudimentary, we'll put it that those times, but at least Osajifo built them a place. Then he started building Tema. The same way he was going to move the Osu people and start building Osu, and either they will come back or they will find them somewhere. You see, Accra people, by accident of them being the host of everybody, the advantage is that they own the capital. But the disadvantage is that most of their lands that were acquired by government, which by default or by any law, common or even the proper law, it should go back to the chiefs or the kings, for the kings to say, okay, now we can resell it to our people at a discount, or we can resell it to individuals who are not our people, but they must develop and build houses for our people, something like that. All this is not happening. For me, I sympathize with the sentiment coming from Accra and from the Gans that they are being shortchanged. Whoever is causing the shortchange, they are being shortchanged. Abe, run up for me.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, we are Ghana people. We don't need any sympathy. Do you understand? All what we need is to reorganize ourselves and fight with whoever calls himself or herself governments and deal with them on an arm's length basis. Do you understand? Mansa Musa, I'm not worried. I'm not worried if government takes land. Do you understand? To build any public facility. Apart from Tema, apart from the Tema housing thing they did, Mampobi, they had a housing project at Mampobi. Connection Estates, they have a project there. Kolebu, they had project there. Dansoma, they have these projects there.
Airport.
Mansa Musa, they didn't build these projects only for gas.
Bema Camp.
Do you understand? They build it for everybody, for the average Ghanaian to enjoy. So if this is how the land is to be used, of course we all benefit.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Sure.
But where a group of people will come and hide, and look, Mansa Musa, up to today, me when I go to Accra today, I don't see Accra as having developed though. What I see in Accra is chaos, organized chaos. People who don't know Accra, we say Accra is this. What I see in Accra is chaos. Because they are building anyhow, the lands, I mean, there is no park in Accra, there's nothing. But all what we see is people are just taking the land, hiding behind the chiefs. They just divide the chiefs and take the land. That is what some of us are against. Do you understand? And that is why we don't take it lightly when we see people try to defend this thing. Ambrose was saying if there are private lands, then why is the government negotiating with the chiefs? Why is the government negotiating with the chiefs? If it is private land, the government can just go and buy those private lands. There is no land in Accra which doesn't belong to any clan. The only thing is Ghana people should reorganize themselves and take those lands. Me, I'm very optimistic that look, when we organize, we can take all those lands. Recently, when I went to Accra, Mansa Musa, you know, TUC, opposite TUC, the whole stretch TUC and opposite Accra Workers College, the whole stretch of land there has been taken by this company, owned by Oforiata. That stretch of land. And as a guy, when I saw that, I was worried.
That is a worry.
Do you understand?
That is a worry.
I was worried because this land has been there for so long. Mansa Musa, you know, I don't know how well you know Accra, but there's a place we used to call Kolena.
I know there. No, I know.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
The whole stretch between Abosokai and Accra, where the lagoon was. When we were growing up, that land was fallow land. It was a marshy land, and they told us that land was supposed to be used for a sports facility or some government facility. So we dare not. We only walk there. We only go and play there. If we know
there were some football fields here and there.
Exactly. If we know they will convert this thing to rubbish like this.
We had a team in Bemaka who went to play snake on that particular field. I remember some time ago. Yeah.
Exactly. So if when we were growing up, we knew that this land will be used for rubbish like they've done now, wouldn't we take our land? We would have taken that land without any question.
Anyway, we'll have to come back again. Let me say thank you to you individually. Every one of you is here. So, Abe, thank you very much.
Okay.
Kwesi, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mansa Musa.
Now, let me put the microphone and thank Ambrose. Ambrose, thank you very much.
Mansa Musa, before I leave, let me say a word before I leave.
And what is that? And what is that word?
Yembisa, Ghana chiefs, the various traditional chiefs, paramounts. Yembisa almost say, if they are not part of this cabal, Yembisa almost say, lands are companies, industries, foreign companies, for example, let me use foreign companies. And Kromabedi Adeno, or Shambra say, all the freehold lands of Murilizima Brofunino ceases to be a 50-year lease. As of now, the year independence 50 years is Chombo. It's a 50 years Chomua. all the land and the fixtures on the land should go back to their allodial owners. You mean to say all those foreign companies now, your Mujins as you see there, they are 1 year.
All right.
They have also connive and renew the license to other people.
Okay.
These chiefs are misappropriating our lands.
All right.
They don't add anything to our lands, but they enjoy increment on the land.
Okay.
When we are talking, we don't have to leave the chiefs alone.
Okay.
They are part of the cabal, and we should talk indiscriminately. We will tackle the politicians, and also we should not exclude the chiefs.
All right.
They are part of the problem that we are facing in Accra.
Brilliant.
In issues to do with land litigation.
Brilliant. You've made your point. You said one word, but spoken more words. So, but thank you very much.
That is one way. When you combine them, they are all one. They are one way.
Can you know one, Matthias? Listen.
One question answer all.
NFM Radio.
Thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll come and
if I ask you all the rivers, it is in the Bible. If I say, I give you a question, geography question, I say that all the rivers flows into the sea. But the sea is never full. Discuss. It's one question, but you answer a whole lot of answers to answer.
Mate.
Issues to do because you have individual and private lands.
We have ended nicely.
I thought we have ended amicably. We have individual and private lands. We have school and skin lands. We have family lands and also we have state lands. So Nima Uncle Sia Mansa Musa Kachano.
No, I thought we have ended amicably.
Yeah, so or try no one mislead you listeners. Men Tom one mislead. That is my area of expertise. So, my name is only misleading listeners. We need to go to
you. All right. Abe, have a good night.
Mansa Musa, hold on. No, you can't end me like that.
Okay.
If he claims this is his area of his specialization, I'm sorry. My friend, you have not exhibited any professional thing as far as your area is concerned. Do you understand? If you come to my area of specialization, I will school you in that. But you have failed to show your professionalism and your expertise.
I will not waste the time. I will charge you.
Do you understand?
So if you need education, come pay, then I will teach you.
Okay.
If you are the type of expertise, I'm sorry, I will not come to you.
I will come and learn from
you. If you are the type of expertise, I will not come to you. You have not displayed any level of expertise here. No at all.
Let me say, I'm dealing with an ignorant person, so how do I display my expertise? Because you are ignorant. Whatever that I would say, you don't understand.
And when you deal with an you deal with a layman as a professional, you should know how to deal with the layman. Do you understand? You don't. But my friend, I'm sorry, you have not shown any professionalism. Your type is why Ghana is not developed. Your type is why Ghana is where it is. You understand? You believe in your title or you believe in your word, so that's why Ghana is titles. We don't deal with titles, my friend. I don't deal with titles.
You come and make a lot of noise, and nobody attend to you.
My friend, I don't deal with titles. You just have the title for nothing.
Sometimes Ghana,
you have not delivered anything. You have not convinced me as a professional. No.
But you are defending yourself. You don't know what you are talking about. You don't know.
My friend, there's nothing professionalism about you. Those who can call you by your title can call, but me no. Good night.
All right.
Good night, Mr. Abe. Go and learn and come next time. Okay?
Right. Awesome. Thank you all very much indeed. Tomorrow will come, God willing, to do it all over again. The have a brilliant night. Cheers, oh, bye bye.
day. Listen a cocoa padia. Young grow. Listen a cocoa you padia. Ooh, yeah. I deal with some pepperoni. Ooh, yeah. I dip on that only one. One can solve the young grow. One can solve the Ooh, yeah, and I was so pepperoni.